at our home and also at our institutions. I think those few remarks, let me stop it there. And I say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Brother Omar. Please, thank you. Now, brothers and sisters, it is the moment that most of us have been anticipating. Most of us, actually, I believe, were somehow compelled to come to grace this event because of this moment that we're waiting for here. Please, brothers and sisters in Islam, join me in welcoming the legendary, acclaimed, I was here, the sensational Mr. Rishad Rajab Ramadan from Sheikh Khalifa Secondary and Technical School. يا أستاذ فليتفضل مشكورا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. يهدي الله فلا مضل له فلا هادي له. الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is my great pleasure and honor to grace this occasion. My sincere gratitude and appreciation to Chairman Zakaria A. Abdullahi and the whole team of MSAUN for giving opportunity. I've never before given a lecture in an auspicious institution like this, so thank you for Kunito Shamba. Topic I develop youth and the role model of Muslim youth in Islam. I don't know why they chose to give me the most difficult topic of the day. In the most difficult time of the day, after people have really taken their lunch, Ryan told me I was supposed to wake them up. I was trying to stay up myself. Youth are the core and foundation of our youth, core foundation of our society. AWAH was fundamental in driving this message in the early, so that it could be seen in Islamic history that we too, if our youth are not upright and do not take leadership positions, then we shall not achieve being the leading religion in the world. I'll go back to history so that we understand what I'm trying to say. These are things that all of us know, and Taha mentioned some of the things I would like to say. I actually wanted to mention everything, and then I'll have nothing. The most important thing that we need to realize is that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, as Ali said, when you look at the history itself, not so many of you know. Majority of the Sahabas, ridwanullah alayhi, were young people. An example of Akram. Akram ibn Abil Akram. I think you all know the name Akram because the house and his companions used to go and hide and learn the Quran and the religion of Islam. Of this house is called Akram ibn Abil Akram. When he offered this house to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam to establish his religion that will time history, he was just old. He had inherited the house from his parents. He embraced Islam, and he was just 12 years old. Tell me, will a 12-year-old today, after inheriting a house, is he going to give it to the Islamic Association to continue with da'wah endeavors? If no, where have we gone wrong? So, this is the responsibility and sacrifice that was within our youth at a very early stage. And the Rasul built them. Akram, he just became a Muslim. He just became a Muslim. And he has offered his house to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's 12 years old. We go ahead in history. Umar ibn al-Khattab, at 26 years old, accept Islam. Taban, it is out of one of the prayers of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, where he said, Allahumma a'iz al-Islam bi ahad al-Umarain, and his heart wanted Umar ibn al-Khattab more than Umar ibn al-Hisham, who was Abu Jahl. And Umar accepted Islam. Immediately he did so at the age of 26, when Rasul and Sahabas were converging at the same house. Umar asked a very pertinent question to Rasul. Says, Ya Rasulullah, alasna ala al-haq? Rasul said, Bala. Says, then why are we hiding? Lima ma nudhir hadha al-amr? Why don't we declare Islam to everybody in Mecca? And Rasul said, it's a good idea. And from that day, Umar got the nickname, Al-Faruq, man faraq Allahu bihi bayn al-haqq wal-batil. 26 years of age. How old are we? Who has done anything amongst us at the age of 26 that is fundamental in the Islamic society or in the Islamic world? These are questions that we need to be asking ourselves. Ali bin Abi Talib, at the age of 21, he slept on the deathbed, slept on the bed of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, where he was supposed to pose as Rasul so that Rasul can escape. And you all know the story back in history. When they came, they didn't strike, they decided to look, and only to realize that it was Ali. But when he was sleeping there, if they had decided not to look and confirm whether it's Muhammad or not, it is Ali who would have been assassinated. 21 years old. I bet most of us here, if we are not 21, we are past 21. How has Islam benefited from you? What sacrifices are you ready to make? And maybe it is this, we need to start with small things. Maybe donating something small from MSAUN and the rest of the Islamic organizations within our society to take them forward so that they don't have to beg here and there. Mus'ab ibn Umair, the first ambassador of Islam. Mus'ab died at the age of 36, was martyred at the age of 36. He didn't live long. Mus'ab, when he decided to take up the religion, he was in his early 20s, sacrificed everything, like you've been told here. Sacrificed everything. He was a handsome young man. If we are handsome today, what do? We terrorize the girls. Mus'ab, being handsome as he was, and history says this, I'm not branding him. History says, Khan Shabun Wasim. He was a handsome young man. Dressed with the Gucci and Giordano's and the Gaps of that time. He never used to wear cloth from Mecca. His cloth came from Syria and Yemen. The perfume that Mus'ab used to put on his body or on his clothes, when he comes out of his house, people at the Kaaba could smell and they say, Ha huwa Mus'abun qadimun. And they just smell the scent and they say, Mus'ab has just come out of his house, he's coming. Subhanallah. Get me a perfume that smells like that today. I'll buy it from you. Then he sacrifices all that and embraces Islam. And he becomes the first ambassador. And when he is taken to Medina as the first ambassador of Islam by Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Rasul finally migrates to Medina, Mus'ab was sent in early parts of the year. There were like around 6 months between Mus'ab being sent and Rasul migrating. Rasul found 60 families having embraced Islam. 50 families, 60 families having embraced Islam. Maybe I should take it further. When Mus'ab was being buried after he was martyred in the Battle of Uhud, the Sahabas didn't know what to do. They went to Rasul and told him, Rasul, we are trying to bury Mus'ab, but it is difficult for us. He says, what's the problem? He says, the cloth that he has on his body, if we cover his face, his feet are open. And when we cover the feet, the face is open. Rasul said, cover the face with his cloth, what he's wearing, and cover the feet with grass. People are buying Jannah, paradise, with their world. We are busy buying the world with our paradise. We need to change the narrative. We need to change the story. Mu'adh bin Jabal. Mu'adh bin Jabal was sent by Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam to be a qadi in Yemen. A young man, full of knowledge. He was young. Mu'adh bin Jabal died at the age of 34 in Jordan today. When was he sent to? He was sent to Yemen after the conquest of Mecca. Meaning he was some 20-something years old. A qadi. Rasul said, when he asked him, they say the hadith is da'if, but Ibn Abdul Bar says it is sahih. But we are taking the knowledge out of it. He was asked, Bima taqdi ya Mu'adh? He said, Bil Quran. Rasul said, I will judge with the Quran, using the Quran. Then he's asked, فَإِن لَمْ تَجِدْ, if you don't find it in the Quran, he said then, بِسُنَّةِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ, with the sunnah of Rasulullah. Then he was asked, وَإِن لَمْ تَجِدْ, he said, أَجْتَهِدُ رَعِي, I will use the knowledge that I have, my consciousness, my thought, and my own judgment based on Islamic principles. Rasul beat up his chest and said, Alhamdulillah, alladhi wafaqa Rasulu Rasulillah. May Allah bless the one, the messenger of the messenger of the messenger of Allah. طيب. So that the ladies don't feel left out. We have Asma bint Abi Bakr, who was 12 years old. Listen to this. 12 years old. When Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq were hiding in the cave of Thawr, it is Asma bint Abu Bakr, who was only 12 years old, that was given the duty to carry the food from Abu Bakr's house, radiallahu anhu, to Abu Bakr and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam's, the cave where they were hiding. If ever you get an opportunity to go to Makkah, bi'idhnillah al-kareem, and may Allah bless you with that opportunity, all of you, bi'idhnillah al-kareem, you're quiet. Just made a prayer for you. May Allah bless you with the opportunity of visiting Makkah. You don't want to go to Makkah, guys? Ameen, ya Rab. Hii biryani na matatizo. It is quite a distance, because the Makkah during the time of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the mosque today is bigger than the Makkah, the village called Makkah in the time of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The entire mosque perimeter is larger than the Makkah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So you can imagine where Ghar Thawr is, where the cave of Thawr is. It's far, quite a distance it was. But this 12-year-old girl will walk every day to take food. And when she's playing with other girls, she will never mention about where Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr, his father, were hiding. You tell me, a 12-year-old today, if they see somebody as prominent as a leader like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in hiding, wouldn't they have the urge to tell someone in the wake of Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, and what have you today? So these are things we need to study. This is a history we need to learn. This is a history we need to teach one another, so that we can actually go back to being the kind of Muslims that they were. And it is only then that we can actually move forward in this very difficult time in history, the end of days. That Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. Ja'far, during the migration to Abyssinia, he was among those people that migrated. And when King Najash was convinced by the Quraysh that he needs to either return all the Muslims or persecute them in Ethiopia, he stood up and spoke eloquently in front of the king. He was 24 years old. He died at the age of 36. He was 24 years old then. Give me a Muslim brother or sister, 24 years old today, who will who will stand in front of a ruthless leader, king, president, and articulate issues of Islam. The cameraman, you're interfering with my lecture. Cameraman, you are interfering with my lecture because the girls cannot stop giggling. And these boys who are coming on the screen are just making them laugh. So Ja'far stood in front of the King Negus, Najash of Abyssinia, and spoke eloquently. You go back to history, you can find the speech. It's not the day for it today. And he convinced him to let the Muslims stay. And he even refused the presents and gifts that were brought from Makkah. Usama ibn Zayd at 18 years old. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam made him the commander of an army that had all the prominent Sahabas that you know. The Ashara Mubashirin bil Jannah and everybody else. He gave the command, he gave the flag to Usama bin Zayd, who was just 18 years old. And he went for 40 days and came back with a great victory. When Osama was given this role, had just started being sick. So Osama didn't move. They stayed at a place known as Juruf until when Rasul finally died. After the burial is when Abu Bakr Siddiq, now the Khalifa, gave him the orders to move. And then he asked the permission that he should relieve Omar of his duties so that he remains to help him with administrative work in Medina. The people lamented to Abu Bakr and they were telling Abu Bakr Siddiq, he's a young man, he can't lead an army like Abu Bakr said, I am not changing anything. I am not changing any decision that was made by Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Imagine, 24, 18-year-old boy. An 18-year-old boy can't keep a wife today. Marry off a woman to an 18-year-old boy, you've terrorized the girl. True or false? Can an 18-year-old in our town in Nairobi take care of a wife? Girls, can you trust yourself with an 18-year-old? Girls, can you trust yourself with an 18-year-old? Thank you. So you see, Rasul is not trusting an 18-year-old with a wife. He is entrusting an 18-year-old with the entire Muslim army. Where have we gone wrong? What do we need to change? Where should we start? Aisha bint Abi Bakr, al-Mu'mineen. This lady, radiallahu anha, when Rasul died, she was just 18 years old. She had just turned 18 years old. Just turned 18 years old. After Rasul died, her house became an informal institution of learning. She was teaching people Islam outside her window. Remove Aisha from the equation of Islam right now, Islam is gone. There's no religion. Because half of the hadith have been narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha, being the companion that is narrating from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where are our women today with Islam, with the knowledge of Islam? Where are our women when we talk of our religion? I know we have trendy hijabs, yeah? We're busy making trendy hijab. Why aren't we becoming busy in learning our religion so that we realize our hijab is not supposed to be trendy? Hijab is supposed to cover. So when it's trendy, you're only causing our youth more problems. When the hijab is trendy, the boys trend. All right? So this is where we are getting it wrong. We've become apologetic Muslims. We want Islam to fit in us instead of us fitting in Islam. And this is where the problem is. We want Islam, we want to practice Islam, but not change our ways. We want Islam to accept us the way we are. Yet Islam is a complete religion. We are supposed to leave everything that we are and accept Islam. Udkhulu fi silmi kafa. Enter into this religion with your two legs wholesomely. But this is where the problem is. The last example I will give is Muhammad al-Fatih of the Ottoman Empire, who conquered Constantinople, Constantinople was the greatest Roman city in the medieval era. He conquered it. He was only 25 years old. Only 25 years old. When you talk of the army that he led there, go back in history. These are the things we should Google. Google this. Google Muhammad al-Fatih. See what he did. Then ask yourself, what have you done? So when I come back to us, what skills should we, leadership skills that we should develop within ourselves? I'll pick the first one, being Iman. We need to instill Iman in the hearts of our youth and character. Iman and character. Because you see, Iman is everything. Iman is everything. If it is absent, then we have nothing. That is why we are the way we are today. And you see, when I'm saying that is why we are, even us Muslim scholars, if we deserve to be called like so, even us, we lack the Iman. And we lack the character. That is why probably when we stand on the pulpit, when we talk, people don't change. Because I believe if it came from the heart, then it will go in. But because it is just coming from the mouth, it is going into one ear, walking out. So we need a radical change in all of us. From the clergy all the way to the simple Muslim. And if you're not going to do this, Allah will take us all away and bring other people. We will not be able to survive. We will not end up in paradise. You all agree with me, it is difficult. You're all university students. It's difficult to be a Muslim in the university. It's difficult to practice Islam in this institution. Very true. Am I speaking the truth? Is it difficult or not? Especially when you're a practicing Muslim. It's difficult. How can we change the situation? One of those ways, so that we can raise leaders that will replace us who have let you down. I'm not a leader anyway. I'm just speaking. I am a student of knowledge. I don't know why Ryan was using such big words in trying to introduce me. I'm just a student of knowledge. We are yet to reach that. One is instill Iman and character. Why am I saying so? Because when you go back to Surah An-Nur, verse 55, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ وَلَيُمَكِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ دِينُهُمْ الَّذِي ارْتَضَى لَهُمْ وَلَيُبَدِّلَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ خَوْفِهِمْ أَمْنًا يَعْبُدُونَنِي لَا يُشْرِكُونَ بِي شَيْئًا وَمَنْ كَفَرَ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Allah says He has given a promise to all of us believers. 3 promises. Alladhina, this promise is to those amanu minkum, those who will believe among you. Wa amilu salihat, and after they have believed, they will practice good deeds, good character, good behavior. They will put their Islam in practice. They will not just be Muslims at heart and then they do other things. No, they will be Muslims in their hearts and their limbs will follow suit. Allah will do three things for them. One, لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ, Allah will make them khalifas. Allah will make them inherit the rule of the world. 1. 2, وَلَيُمَكِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ دِينَهُمْ, Allah will establish their religion. الَّذِي ارْتَضَى لَهُمْ, the religion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has endeared to them. وَلَيُبَدِّلَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ خَوْفِهِمْ أَمْنًا, and Allah will change their situation from where they are afraid and full of fear to peace, tranquility, where they fear no one. Simple. So we need to be youth. And we need to raise the ones that are behind us to be the kind of people that this dream, these 3 promises, will come true to them. So we need to instill Iman in our hearts. How do we instill Iman in our hearts? How do we instill Iman in our hearts? Simple, following this religion. Establishing Salah. The Siyam, especially the Sunnah one, because Ramadan is once a year. The Sunnah Siyam, the Monday, the Thursdays, the white days. Don't leave these things. These are the things that keep you in check. Salah, don't postpone prayer. Pray on time. Adhere to the religion. Believe me, we are so lucky. I swear to God. We are so lucky. We are living in a time that Rasul Sallallahu once stood up and said, Ashtaqu ikhwani. I miss my brothers. The Sahabas were like surprised. What is he saying? He says, Ashtaqtu. And by Ishtaqtu ikhwani, I miss my brothers. He said, Ya Rasulullah, nahnu huna, we are here. He said, La antum ashabi. You're my companion. Who are the ikhwan of Rasul? الذين يؤمنون به ولم يروني. Those who will believe in me, yet they have not seen me. Has anyone amongst us here seen Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So you are the brother to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasul said this ikhwan of his will be living in a time whereby it will be full of trial and tribulation, the end of time. And they will be carrying the reward of 50 Sahabas. Rasul says the patience they will need to survive in that time, they will need the patience of, he said, Khamsina fikum. They said, Khamsina minna wala minhum. Said fikum. They will need to have the patience of 17 of 50 Sahabas to live within the times that we're living in. If we have the patience of 50 Sahabas, it means we are also carrying the reward of 50 of them. That is the understanding of the Muslim scholars pertaining to that hadith. So, brothers, let us persevere. We won't ask Allah to take the problem. The problems will not go away. The trials will not go away. But can Allah make us steadfast in front of those trials? We should ask Allah to make us steadfast. Endear the religion to our hearts. So that we can stand firm as Muslims, even in front of all the fitna that is there in the world. Then we need to be, the other thing we need to teach our youth after we have taught them to instill Iman in their hearts and character is to be ethical in everything that they do, so that they can end up being ethical leaders. Who are ethical leaders? Ethical leaders are leaders who operate beyond their ego and influence. They operate beyond their own ego and influence people to act on principles. We have so many principles in Islam. So today we lack leaders who operate beyond their egos. Most of us are egocentric. Most of our leaders are egocentric. So for us to be ethical leaders and to instill ethical leadership in our youth, we need to teach them to operate beyond their ego and influence. And they should have influence on people to act on values and beliefs. And we have 5 values that are crucial, mentioned by Aristotle: respect, service, justice, honesty, building the community. Aristotle never brought it out of from where? When you look at respect, service, justice, honesty, and building the community, and they values Islam shares with Aristotle. Yes. Because as far as Islam is concerned, it is all about the welfare of the people. Only then can we be proud of our future youth who will be our future leaders. Then we need to teach our youth to be confident and not arrogant, because people normally confuse confidence with arrogance. Our youth need to know that being arrogant is one thing and being confident is another, and the two are different. Arrogance takes you to hell because it is among the cloth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one knows everything. To be confident is to appreciate that you have a role to play and others have a role to play too. To be confident, to be a confident leader is to be able to delegate and not be a one-man show. To be a confident leader, you have to be able to speak with conviction. You can only do that when you know your subject matter. And never be arrogant because you are no better than anybody else. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The best of you is the one that is most pious to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, He does not look at our color, skin, the complexion of our skin, the texture of our hair, our height, nose, lips, or anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only thing He cares for is your heart. And how is your heart talking to Him? We need to teach our youth the difference between being lenient and weak. We should be lenient but not weak. We should be lenient. We should have rahmah. Okay? But we should not be weak. Are we making sense? Bowing down to everything? No. There's a time to make a stand in life. Are we making sense? Or am I making sense? Then we need to teach our youth to be leaders of example. You see this business of listen to what I'm saying but don't look at what I do. We don't have that kind of culture in Islam. That is not Islamic. We need exemplary leaders. Leaders who live by what they believe in, and that is Islam. Whatever they believe in has to be within the confines of the religion of Islam. And they need to be, whatever they preach, they need to live it. But you'll agree with me today, most of us, we talk a lot of religion. But when we are alone, do we practice that same religion? We all look very beautiful in our kanzus and nice kofias and shadari. When we are alone in our houses, this Islam that we portray in appearance, is it in existence in our lives? The hijab that our girls, our ladies have cladded on. Are you, the way you look religious in the hijab that you've worn? Are you that religious when you're alone? Is the hijab just a cover of your body, or is the hijab from your heart? Because when hijab is just the cover of the body, then it has no consequence. Hijab starts from the heart. Among the skills that we need to teach our youth are communication skills. A leader has to be eloquent so that they can drive the message to their people. Eloquence in speech is paramount. You name any leader on earth and you realize that they had the power of the word, speech. Obama won elections just by talking. Remember? You can win elections just by being eloquent. He was eloquent. And people voted him to White House. And you go back to all the leaders in history. They were all very eloquent people. That is why their speeches are recorded and quoted all over the world. Nelson Mandela, when you read everywhere, you see his quotes. Mahatma Gandhi, you name it. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I think he was I know he was the most eloquent of all because Allah blessed him with Jawam al-Kalim. Jawam al-Kalim is being able to say to say words that have a lot of meaning in very few sentences or in a very short sentence. And when we talk of communication skills, listening is a skill too, is a communicative skill. Much as the leader needs to be eloquent, you need to be eloquent, but you need to be a good listener too, if you're to be effective on your people. And that is why Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, there is no instance but he would ask the opinion of the Sahabas. You remember in the battle of Badr, he would ask the Sahabas, rather in the battle of Handaq, he asked for the opinion. What do we do? He will always consult his Sahabas in issues that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not brought wahi to him. We also need to teach our youth to be emotionally intelligent. How do we be emotionally intelligent? We need to have open-mindedness. We need to encourage our youth to see, to be concerned about others. Are we concerned about others? Are we? When you miss a brother in class, a fellow Muslim, do you ask about him? Do you want to know their whereabouts? Ama utasema ni usabasi na udaku. Mombasa tuita umbea. Do we ask about one another? Sahabas ridwanullah alayhim will ask about one another. When they don't see you for Fajr, they will wait for Dhuhr. If they don't see you in Dhuhr, they will be at your doorstep at Asr. They know the only thing that would have stopped you from reaching the mosque is that you're sick. So they will come pay you a visit. This brings love, mahabba, wood between believers. But do we even care about one another? Today we have phones. Do you even call and text a brother? You missed class, bro. What's up? And then we really need to be understanding. You need to teach our youth to be empathetic and be understanding. And to be emotionally strong and have self-awareness. Are we self-aware of ourselves? Do we know ourselves, or do you need to go to a psychic to analyze you? Can you really stand and say, this is me? Mathalan, if I'm myself, I say, this is Rishad Rajab Ramadan is A, B, C, D. Do we know ourselves to that extent? Or does your lecturer have to say who you are? Do you know yourself, or does somebody have to define who you are? We need to be self-aware of ourselves. We know our weaknesses and our strengths, so that you can continue strengthening your strengths and also taking care of your weaknesses and your fears. But you see, most of the times, shy away from our weaknesses and our fears. We hide them. And as such, we don't deal with them. And that is why you hear a Muslim is depressed. Shame on you. A Muslim is never depressed. A Muslim is never depressed. Acha na stress paka ameshikwa na sukari na ulcer. No. That is unacceptable. Shikwa na sukari na ulcer because of maybe your bad lifestyle of eating, not because of issues. We are Muslims. We have a God that is a living God that listens to us. We talk to him. Salah is one place that if you pray, all your problems, your issues are supposed to be addressed. And if you tell me Salah doesn't address your issues, you have an issue. A big one. Because Salah addresses everything. We need to instill in our youth how to use their energy. Youth have a lot of energy. You could see Shabab running up and down. MashaAllah, not resting. Wanakwenda juu, wanarudi chini, and they're working 24/7. They're serving us. They're doing it. You see, that's a lot of energy. Imagine if this energy is used to serve the community. Today, the MSAUN members have really served us. Imagine it was a Sunday. Where will they take that energy? I've never seen those boys that have been serving us seated. Imagine now he's just seated with all that energy. What does he do with it? Si hapo ndo matatizo yanaanza. Are you getting me? You see that energy? Some of you have been up and about since morning. Wenda ukirudi, wapanda washuka. Now imagine, and subhanallah, you will go and you will wake up in the morning and you'll go about your business. That energy, if it is not nurtured, harnessed, tapped, directed, it is the energy that brings us problems. And then I think sometimes we tell our people to be very, we need to be able to teach our youth that, you see, we shouldn't take everything so serious. There's time for hard work and there's time we should just let things move. Are we making sense? Because it's not always the hard way is the way of doing things. Sometimes in my life experience, sometimes it's the easy way that gets things done, especially when you're dealing with people. Hard ways tend to rebound on your face. Point number 9. We need to teach our youth to be able to make their own decisions and tell them that it is okay to fail. Because you realize in the kind of lives that we live today, it's like there's no room for failure. In the lives that we live today and what we tell our children in school, it's like there's no room for failure. How dare we tell our youth there's no room for failure? Yet the man who invented the globe, he tried that 99 times. And he managed to lit that globe in the 1,000th time. He failed 99. He failed 999 times. It is the 1,000th time that he made the light. He created the light or whatever he did. But the light went on after the 1,000th time when he tried. Making mistakes is okay in life. We are not perfect. Remember, we are human beings. Remember, we are not complete. Remember, our name in Arabic is Insan. Mushtaqun min Nisyan. It's a name, Insan. It comes from forgetfulness. The origin, the root word in Arabic means forgetfulness. So we forget. And forgetting is a blessing. Imagine if you're an orphan and you remember your father and mother dying every day of your life. Will you be able to move ahead in life? No. The fact that we forget in 3 days, imagine if you carry the pain of the death of the loved ones all your life. You will not even come to the university. You will never pass exams. So we need to teach our youth that they will fail along the way, but they should never lose hope. They should have the courage to stand and move on. And sometimes we need to let our youth propel their lives, guide them, hold their hands where we need to hold their hands, but there's a time you need to let them drift. Let them fly on their own. Let them fall, pick them up, make them hold their hands and make them fly again. But the business of trying to spoon food our youth all the way, this is where we end up having people who need babysitting even after university. We need to make our youth realize that each and every one of them, one has a purpose. You need to know with conviction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ma khalaqaka abatha. Allah never created you without a purpose. Each and every one of us has a purpose. Some realize their purpose along the way. Some realize their purpose early in life. Others will die without realizing the purpose, but it doesn't mean you don't have a purpose. We do have a purpose. Whether you realize it or not, that's not an issue. And each and every one of us has a difference to make in this world. Each and every one of us has a contribution to make in this world. Ask yourself, what contribution do you want to make? How do you want to be remembered? What legacy do you need to leave behind? What do you want people to say when your casket is in front of them? or let me say the jeneza. Tusi. Unajua tusi ile kubeba maiti. When it stands in front of people in the mosque, what do you want people to say about you? Because people will say about you what they saw in you. So what do you want them to remember the day you're brought in front of the mosque? The day you're brought to be prayed for? The day messages are sent to people, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, Rishad has died. What do you want people to say when they see the message, Rishad has died? Do you want them to set up a disco that night? Wakule ngoma usiku kucha, celebrating your life? Do you want them wende kanunue marungi wakeshe, celebrating your life? Do you want them to go back to the Lord? Say, do. Say, do. Rishad ankwenda. And I'm using myself because if I use Ryan, itakuwa issue. Do saa do. Kumba niombe mazuri. What do you want people to say? You need to think about what you see. If whoever you are, look at yourself in the mirror and say, what do I want people to remember of the image that I see in front of me? How your cape looked like, and how expensive it was, how your coat was, kanzu yako ya kiimarat, ama tai yako, suit, your nice beard, mashallah, well kept, your nice hijab. What do you want people to remember? For sure we will talk about you. When you die, tutasema. The question is, what will you let us say? According to the way you are as a person, that is how we will say it, pure and simple. And that is why Rasul Sallallahu, when the janaza passed, the people complimented the person that died. Rasul said, wajabat. And then when the other janaza passed and the people complained about that person, Rasul said, wajabat. And they were confused. They asked, why so? And they said, Rasul said, you are the witnesses of one another. You are the witnesses of one another. You know, when somebody dies, we just speak the truth. We will find ourselves just talking the reality about that person. That is one day we will not flatter you. It is one day we will all speak the truth about you. So the question is, what truth do you want us to say about you? Remember, it will be based on how you lived your life. So brother and sister, how are you going to live your life? These are questions you need to ask yourself. And remember, the topic is about youth, yeah? Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tells us in Yawm al-Qiyamah, in a very authentic hadith, لا تزول قدم عبد مؤمن حتى يسأل عن أربعة. And Rasul says, a mu'min will not move his foot until he's asked about 4 things. And the first thing that is going to be asked about, عن شبابه فيما أفناه. You'll be asked about your youth. And how did you spend it? How did you exploit it? How did you make use of it? And youth, according to Islam, Tarbiyah al-Islamiyah, is between the age of 15 and 35, and some scholars have taken it all the way to 30. And that is why they say prophets are given nubuwa at 30, but Rasul is the only one that was given nubuwa at 30. Nabi Isa was a prophet right from onslaught. But the Arabs had a belief that when you reach 40 is when now you've become a man. You're no longer a youth, you're now a person of dependence and responsibility and what have you. And whatever you do from 40, it will be very difficult for you to change. So if you're useless and hopeless at 40, you will be a grandfather useless and hopeless. So be very careful what you do after 40. The habits that you have at 40, you will die doing them. Unless you have a divine intervention somehow. So be very careful. So لا تزول قدم عبد مؤمن حتى يسأل عن أربعة عن شبابه فيما أفنى. How did you exploit your youth? The boys, what will you say? What are you going to tell God? How did you use your youth? And you know what God wants to hear? Allah doesn't care about the master's degree, the degrees, the engineer you are, how many you used to work where, etc. When we talk of how did you spend your youth, it is all about your deeds, your character, behavior, thawab and sin, pure and simple. It is one day Rasul is telling Aisha, Rasul is telling Fatima, the daughter, says, Ya Fatima, salini mashit. Fatima, ask me what you want of this world, I will give it. لأنني ما أغني عنك يوم القيامة. Because I will not be able to benefit you at all in the day of judgment. And this was Fatima. Do you know how Fatima used to be called? Used to be called Fatima binti Rasulillah. Who amongst you here has such a surname? She used to be called Fatima binti Rasulillah. Kuna mtu aitwa Fatima binti Rasulillah? Wewe aitwa Muhammad bin Rasulillah. So if Fatima binti Rasulillah, the Prophet is not going to be able to save her from hellfire. What about me and you? So let's take care of our youth. It shapes our future. And you'll be asked about it because it's a very crucial moment of your life. Three things that the youth have to change for a better future. That will be the end of my lecture. Three things the youth have to change for a better future. One, thought. We need to change the way we think, the way we perceive things. Islam is pure and complete. That is how we have inherited it. It is complete and pure. There is nothing we can add to it. In fact, we live in a generation of muqalladin. We live in a generation of imitators. We are not adding any value to this religion. We are just copy and paste kind of people for your information. Everything I've told you here, I've not invented anything. I've researched and brought it to you. We are not innovating anything because it's a religion that is already complete. What are you going to innovate? But the problem that we have with Islam today is thought. Why? Simple. Because we're being guided by leaders that they are called ulama as-salatin, scholars of the rulers, people that don't make decisions based on what is the best interest of the people, but what is the best interest of the country, the ruler, the people that they call bosses. Our Muslim scholars are no longer independent. They belong to school of thoughts that are being engineered and paid by people. So we need to be a youth that will be independent. Imam Malik said, he who feeds you controls the way you think. He who pays you controls the way you think. And most of our scholars today are paid by people. And they're being controlled by these people that they pay. So you, kind of leaders, that you will not be paid by people, but probably you'll be able to be independent in one way or another. Otherwise, this religion will never move forward. It is in stagnation in this country, especially because of that. Then we need to change our future. Once we've changed the way we think in terms of thought, and this is because we listen to our Muslim scholars. And remember, he's being paid. Okay, this is not the first time it's happening in the history of Islam. The Umayyad dynasty, the books that were written during that time, there were books that were written, but they will never touch on the Umayyads. Muslim scholars only had an independence of thought and to write us the way they pleased during the Abbasid dynasty. And that is why it is at that time that we had the golden age of education. So another thing we need to change is we need to change oppressive, greedy, selfish rulers from amongst ourselves. Because you see, we are the future leaders. Are you going to be oppressive, greedy, and selfish? Rulers who fear, are we going to be leaders who fear poverty and justify all the wrong that is done because of the promise that they have for tomorrow? By accepting deceit from shaitan for the hope of long life. You just heard in the morning about procrastination. One of the things that Iblis really uses as a dangling carrot is procrastination and giving us amal, hope of the future. All of us, how many of us in the current century do you, before you go to bed, amongst you, the youth today, raise your hand if you are, you actually think about death before you go to sleep? Raise your hand if you actually think about death before you go to sleep. 1, 2, oh, you're stretching yourself. Among the sisters, usiniambie una zuhudi. Kama ufanye. Sawa, nyosha mkono. You think about death. Nisikunyosha mkono. I don't think about death. Me, I don't think about death. See, I'm standing here in front, I'm telling you. Utia dua zangu kalala. Nishasoma ayatul kursi hai, kija bismillah. So, you see, but we need to be thinking about it. Why? Why do we need to think about death? You tell me. Don't tell me. I know, in the kind of studies that we do today, it's depressing to think about death. Who told you? When you think about death, it makes you a better person. Because you'll wake up tomorrow and not make the same silly mistakes that you made today. Because death signifies one thing, meeting your Lord. Lastly, love for the world and fear of death. Change the future by not loving the world. If you love the world, then you're in trouble. And if you fear death, then you're also in trouble. We are Muslims, we don't fear death, it's written. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Love of the world. Why do we need to love the world so much? Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has asked us not to love it. If you don't love the world will come to your feet. But if you love the world, then you will be chasing it for the rest of your life. And that is why you realize that all the rich men today want to get richer. And capitalism has capitalized us. They want to get richer by oppressing the poor because of the love for the world. But you see, if God will bless you, will bless you. You see, the rich amongst us have been decided. The poor amongst us have been decided. Do we believe in that? Am you want to tell me, do we believe that the poor amongst us have been decided and the rich amongst us have been decided? Do you believe in that? Yes or no? Do you believe the rich amongst us have been decided? Yes or no? And the poor amongst us have been decided. Thank you. That is the truth. Then my question is, in your choice of career, how come you thought of the money? If that is the case, in your choice of career, why did you think of the money? You see, if our careers were to give us the money, or if our education is supposed to give us the money, then the university chancellors and professors are supposed to be the richest people in the world. Prophets. But the richest people in the world, some of them are all school dropouts. Do you know that? Huh? Do you know that? You tell me which university Bill Gates graduated in. An honorary doctorate. He has never gone through, never reached the college. Because in the end of the day, these are things that we Muslims know. We are not supposed to be surprised, because the day you are 120 days in your mother's womb, a malaika was sent and he wrote, that malaika wrote your rizq. It's not going to change. Allah will bless it, but it is not going to change in quantity. It will change in blessing, but not in quantity. These are things that we need to know, so that you don't die for a job. You don't take out your hijab for a job. You don't change your name, you Muslim brother, for a job. You don't sacrifice your religion, compromise your religion for a job. So, if we adhere to what I have told us and many more, we will surely have a prosperous future, because the future is in your hands, whether we like it or not. And I've given you examples in history that you have seen. It is the youth that took this country, that took the Islamic nation forward. Without you people, we are doomed. And you see, because we currently don't have direction. Today the boys are chasing the girls and the girls are being chased by the boys. We have no direction. The boys today, akiamka asubuhi anafikiria vile ataangalia. How many of the boys look at themselves in the mirror? I'm being honest. How many of us looked at ourselves in the mirror? Leo ulivovaa vile ni conference, mademo atakuja ukaji. How many? You see, if you did that in the morning, you have no direction. And if you're a lady and you also look at the mirror, and umevaa hijab, you have no direction. Unless ulikuwa unaangalia mirror, ujue pini utaiweka wapi. Usije ukajidunga. But ladies can do that without looking into the mirror. God has blessed them with that art. So you see, we need to change the way we look at life. We need to stop copying people. We need to be ourselves. We need to everybody has his own destiny. The one thing that you really need to amend is the relationship between you and God. And that way, if you take care of that, it will guide you to a prosperous life. And one of the last things that I'll tell you, we live in a world of greed and achievement, and people count their achievements, they post them, and we also want to do the same. Have something in your heart, have contentment. Ridha bima qasama Allahu alayk. You will never have a problem in life. Ridha bima qasama Allahu alayk. And live within your means. You never have a problem in life. But today, everything is upside down, because we are not true to ourselves. With those few remarks, I hope I've benefited you, and I hope I've taken care of the topic that I was given, and I've done justice on it. Subhanallahumma bihamdika nashhadu la ilaha illa ant nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Shukran wa jazakumullahu khair.
MashaAllah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we had prepared for you, inshallah. And there's still more. This is just the beginning. What you've heard from this fellow and all the other previous speakers before, we're still continuing, and we are now evolving back to our last section of the program today, inshallah, and it's going to be a panel discussion. But before we go there, I have been told that my motivation, I have to change my motivating factor. Credit year 50 apparently is not enough. So I have to get something at least kidogo kubwa. So since we are about realizing our financial strength, I'm going to repeat what I did, but this time with 100 shilling credit here. Airtel. I hope that kidogo is a motivating factor. Na Safaricom, tumepata 50 million. I don't know how we're going to do that. But as we move to the last part of our event, so please, I'm going to be very fast because of time. Not because I don't want to give you the airtime. Simu yangu haitumii airtime wala Safaricom. So, yes, it's better if I give them free to you. So please, be very fast. Airtel, go. Yeah, 100 shillings, jama. 23168 14834 4544. Pole pia hiyo. Okay, once again. 23168 14834 4544. Hiyo imetosha. Kama anajua kuna watu wako very fast washaipata hiyo. Because ikiwa hujaipata yamaanisha you guys are sleeping. Biryani is doing a very good job there. Let's go to Safaricom and see. Safaricom 1. Safaricom, are you ready? Safaricom. Safaricom. Taita customer care hapa. You're not even answering. 2107 3094 0260 14834 4544. Pole pia hiyo. Airtel go. Ya 100 shillings jama. 23168 14834 4544. Pole pia hiyo. Okay, once again. 23168 14834 4544. From Sheikh Rishad, we have Dr. Ibrahim Lidhome with us here, and Sister Rukia Atkia also with us, and they will also be joined partly. Okay, I have been told that this will suffice. So, inshallah, we have prepared a series of questions that we are going to pose for them. So please be keen and attentive for this last session, because after it, we're going to have a Q&A session, a final Q&A session, and also some other airtime to give for free, inshallah. So please, let's be attentive. One thing I'm actually impressed about this panel discussion today, there's this famous saying I usually hear in movies. They say the hunter becomes the hunted. Today, I get to ask a question to the one person who made my IRE studies very, very difficult in a way in understanding the questions. I remember one question we were asked in high school. Fabrication of hadith. I was in Form 2. Subhana Rabbil Izza. Fabrication. What is fabrication? I'm seeing this word first time in an exam room. What is fabrication? Hey. But today, this is my chance. I get to pay back at least. Okay, on a lighter note, either way. But I'm really glad I get to ask Sheikh Rashad here, my teacher, a question. And please, I don't want it to seem like I'm overtaking here. I'm staying on my lane. You're still the teacher here, inshallah. MashaAllah. Shukran. So, off with this panel discussion, inshallah. My first question, Sheikh Rishad. Today's world, with all the technology that's going around, and given especially a practical example for the university students here, we have so many versions or different forms of fitna going around us. Someone maybe not residing in the hostel will also have the same challenge from the moment they step out of their home in Nairobi, kupanda matatu, till you get to this point. And when you get to school, it's not like it's a bit better. At some instances, it's even far much worse. So I don't know how you can advise us? Can you, by giving us practical examples that we could use as university students in a setting like this, Nairobi, or rather a setting that is not highly Islamic? What ways, or rather, what can we do to protect ourselves from all these various images that we're being bombarded with day in, day out? Because it is bombardment.
Okay, Bismillah, salatu salam ala Rasulillah. I know probably the way you've posed your question in Nairobi in the 21st century, the world of technology, you want a solution that probably is new and innovative. Islam is a way of life. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam had already prophesied this time that we're living in. He said, we are going to be having hufat orat, women that will be wearing clothes but are naked at the same time. Sahabas could not comprehend this. It was unimaginable. But today we see it. And I believe this is what you're talking about. The remedies are simple, are the same. Fasting. I know you'll tell me, tafunga vipi. I know you'll say that. But imagine yourself, if you're a practicing Muslim, if you're a practicing Muslim, you see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't provide things for just the century of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for the 6th century. Islam is a religion that will have relevance to the day Qiyamah starts. It is lack of our belief in this, in Islam, and the solutions that it has, is where our problem is. You see, if I don't believe in fasting, it will make my life easy. Let me ask you this. When you're fasting in Ramadan, aren't you in the university? When you're fasting in Ramadan, aren't you in the same Nairobi? What is different?
Maybe the levels of Iman during that time.
Thank you very much. You see, it's not the level of Iman, it's your perception. Ramadani, na sasa si Ramadan. But imagine yourself that you are the same person fasting now. So if fasting helps us during the month of Ramadan, you see, it is not the idea that Iblis and Shayateen are not around, that we don't sin. It is conviction of our heart. You are in your house, women cook, and they don't eat. You are in your house, you have a fridge that has a juice, and you don't sip it. Why did Allah bring Ramadan? Ramadan is supposed to be a camp to prepare us for the 11 months of torment and tribulation and fitna. If I, out of my free will, didn't sleep with my wife in the daytime of Ramadan, what is my business with the other women of the world? If I could stop myself from my halal, then I have the willpower to stop myself from haram. If I could stop myself from taking or eating what is halal during the month of Ramadan, I can stop myself at any other time. It's not about the month of Ramadan. It's a perception in our heads. So if you feel that there's a lot of fitna, I ask you to fast. If you see fasting is not working, young men and women, instead of having boyfriend and girlfriends, get married. Usimtongoze huyo mtoto wa kike, mwambie, dada, mimi siwezi kuvumilia tena, nataka kuja kwenu kaoe. And I have examples. You want an example? I have a boy and a girl who got married in December. They finished KCSE. The other certificate they had before degree was the marriage certificate.
MashaAllah.
And they got to the university wameshikana mikono. Kwa sababu utatongozwa na utatongoza. Na mtatongozana. That's the reality. Let's not hide about it. So instead of having a girlfriend for 4 years, why don't you get married? And there will be barakah. Allah has guaranteed provision for whoever will take up marriage to safeguard himself from the fitna. Allah has safeguarded and guaranteed you provision. But we have to believe in this. Maybe we didn't know. Sikubali mtoto wa kike wa Islam kwa girlfriend ya mtu na kupotezea muda na wakati. Hakuna rehearsal katika ya mambo.
MashaAllah.
To be used. Because we are really using one another. Ati tutatumia na university life, alafu ikifika tubadilishe. Nani anataka watoto wa kike? You should be selfish. Sitaki mwanamume ametumika kama vile wanaume wakija kwetu pia wanataka watoto wa kike mabikira hawajatumika. Kweli wrong? Put the same standards with these boys and you'll tame them. Ukimwona mtu anaruka ruka mwambie sikutaki, wewe ulikuwa university usikii. Very simple. When the word spreads, they will mend their ways. So I believe the solution is to Islam has a solution. Be a steadfast Muslim. Whatever society we are living in, we will manage, we will be able, because Allah didn't bring us here to oppress us. He's the one. If He wanted, we would have been born in Saudi Arabia. But Allah placed us in Kenya. If we believe in Him and we adhere to our religion, to the teachings that it has provided us with, we will have no problem. And if you feel the sounds are not working anymore, the levels of fitna are above, please go home, get married. Me, I have a very simple nini, and I think maybe Horizon, if you're doing this, you should televise parents. Chakula cha wawili cha mtosha mmoja. Chakula cha mmoja tashosha wawili, Rasul anatuambia, si ndio? If the family is providing for Ryan and they can take care of him, then with that same food they can take care of Ryan and the wife. Kuliko Ryan aje tuletee an illegitimate child. Wewe mtoto wa kike, babako na mamako, they are providing for you. Would they rather uharibike huku ama uje uolewe na kijana mukae naye kwenye hiyo room yako? Where is the problem? Who said you don't have to live in your own house? I know that's the way we've been brought up. Everybody should have his own house. Yet we are living in a different time. Would you rather be somebody's girlfriend for 5 years? Would a parent rather you be the daughter to be somebody's girlfriend for 5 years, or the boy to be somebody's girlfriend for 5 years, or to be a sponsor? You're sponsored by a sugar mommy somewhere, because that is what is happening today. So we need to be straight with ourselves. We need to go back to this religion. It has a solution for us. The question is, are we ready to adhere to our religion as it stipulates?
MashaAllah, thank you very much for that insight. Brother Ibrahim, inshallah, we are moving on to you. You are one person who in this Nairobi is recognized by the students and most prominent Muslims around that you have given attention to both secular education and also our religious education, Islamic education. Then I don't know what advice could you give, or what methods can these Muslims youth use? Because you will find that half of these people here maybe went through very good madrasa institutions throughout their early lives. If not, they went through very well integrated secular institutions like Sheikh Khalifa and the rest. But then when they get to this university level, they tend to forgo the Islamic religious studies and mostly focus on the secular studies for the name of seeking professionalism, or rather to be successful career-wise. I don't know what you have to say regarding that.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. May I begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of life and also for this gathering here. There are many who would have loved to be here this afternoon, but they are not here. And mostly we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the biggest blessing, which is Islam. I think my entry point in answering that question would be the prayer that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved most. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنًا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنًا وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And for me, that tells me the balance that is Islam. I have a bone to pick with many of our scholars with due respect. And it's like Islam is just about preparing us about going to heaven. I agree. Eventually, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us Jannah. Can you say Ameen?
Ameen.
But we have to live in this world before we go there. And that's why Islam also prepares us for this world. And not the world that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahabas were living in. It is the world that we are living in today. We cannot wish it away and say, why weren't we born at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Reason, the fitna was not there. I want to pick up also the issue of the fitna because all of them are linked together. I want to say this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his knowledge knew that a day will come, a time will come that will have all these fitna. 20 years ago, when I was a student like you in the university, I could not have imagined that through a small gadget like this, I would be talking to somebody tens of thousands of kilometers away and even seeing their image. I want to believe it was in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I believe it, that this will come. And we don't know the future. Actually, I was discussing with somebody because this revolution is unstoppable. It's still going on. Technology is discovering newer things. Maybe, just like we are able to sambaza money and sambaza credit, maybe we'll be able to sambaza food. Ustad here can sambaza for me samaki wa kupaka from Pwani, and I'm in Kajiado. You never know. Don't rule it out. Possible in future. So all what we are seeing, the challenges we are seeing. So my take is this. Is us to go to a final destination, and that is Jannah. In the Quran, I'm not fit, but few verses. The Quran, where we are told, وَابْتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارَ الْآخِرَةِ. From what Allah has given you, the knowledge, the wealth, and everything else, seek the abode of Jannah, because that is our destination. That is, we are working hard to go there. But the same Quran tells you, وَلَا تَنْسَى نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا, and do not forget your share in this world, your role in this world. So we have a role to play in this world. What prepares us to play our role in this world? Today, we are living in a world of technology. Islam wants us to get that knowledge. Medicine, actually we have been leaders in that field and other fields. But most important, whatever you do, don't lose your identity as a Muslim. Do not lose your identity as a Muslim. So, I admire those people who have gone through the integrated system. Some of us were able to get both worlds by accident. It was not by design. And if I could just give you my history, I come from a Christian background. My parents became Muslims when I was a small boy. Something happened that made me hate Islam and Arabic and madrasa. I'm sure you know me for a long time, but you don't know this history. What made me hate Islam and Arabic and anything to do with madrasa is something called duksi. Because my parents were influenced by some Somalis who are doing business with them. You know, Maasais and Somalis have something in common, the cows. So we became Muslims. And the next thing, I'm taken to a duksi. The ustad, I don't know whether he's still alive because it was in the late 60s. He was called Ma'alim Ahmed. I used to believe he's not a human being. Sorry. But I pray for his soul. Every Friday, every Saturday and Sunday, I would go to the duksi. I used to call it Mal'ama. And I'm being taught Quran in Kisomali. Alif la korebe, alif la hostebe, alif la gode. Alif wahmale, be hoskale, and te what? You know, I know some of you, I can see you are also products of that. And every Friday, Ustad, I used to pray that I fall sick on Saturday. Yeah. Mwenyezi Mungu niletee homa siku ya Ijumaa, so that on Saturday I don't go to the duksi. And I used to fear one surah in the Quran until I studied Arabic and understood the tafsir. I used to think that this surah was revealed for punishment. Wa shamsi wa duhaha. Because even my mother, Allah yarhamha, she used to tell me, Ibrahim, ukifanya makosa nitambia ustad akusomee wa shams. I know some of you, you've lived wa shams. Anybody with the experience of wa shams? Yes, I can see some hands there. My brothers from Shantabak, Wajia, and the rest, I know. Then my father, I pleaded with my father, and he told me, instead of me hating Islam, no madrasa anymore. So until I went to Form 6, no madrasa. And again, add on top of that, the history that was taught in primary school, secondary school is about slavery, slave trade. And who are the slave traders? Arabs. Arabs, Islam, the same people. I hated it even more. Yes? But alhamdulillah, it was something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had planned for me. Secular up to Form 6. Then on the day my father died, I get a scholarship to go and study in an Islamic environment. And I apply, but I was praying that I do not get it. But I got it. So I ended up now from one world, one extreme to another extreme. And outside this country, I discovered the beauty of Islam. And I went through an integrated university. And that's why I have both. And for me, it is the best thing. If you went through the Islamic system, the pure madrasa system, can you make efforts also to get the other world? Because we need both of them. I know people who have gone to madrasas because of their straitjacketness. Some people even think that masomo ya kizungu ni haramu. We used to be told that masomo ya kizungu ni haramu na nini, which is wrong. And then there is also the element of superiority complex and inferiority complex, which is there. People who are only secular, they tend to feel superior. I don't know what makes them feel superior to those who have gone to madrasa. And those in madrasa tend to feel inferior when they meet with people from the secular world. But for me, the ideal is you have both of them. And let me tell you, I really enjoy it. Just give you a small incident, then go back to our Jeff Koinange here. I take it back to him on the bench. You know, he's behaving like we're on the bench here. I was invited to KU once by Sheikh Abdullah Khair, Dr. Abdullah Khair. There was a joint meeting, so he insisted we must have a Muslim speaker. I went there dressed in my kanzu. I make sure when I'm going to such places, suit is tacky, just want to go with my identity, my kanzu. And I remember the vice chancellor saying, you know, everybody else spoke in English. Everybody else spoke in English. When it was my turn, Sheikh, unaweza kuzungumza kwa Kiswahili. Now, kasema, it's because they perceive us, if you are a Muslim scholar, dressed in a kanzu like your imam, who I know is a scholar in another field also, they assume that you know nothing about this other world. And I told her I will try and tajaribu kizungu kidogo. She didn't know. Little did she know that I'm a lawyer. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. She did not know that. Because that was the impression that you have created. So for me, the best, get the best of the two worlds. Get your religion, hiyo ni kama steering inakuongoza, unakwenda the right way. Get the world, because we have to live in this world. Lastly, if there's any one of you here who is aspiring to be a khatib, my advice these days, with all due respect, the reason why many youth run away from listening to sheikhs is the focus on akhirah, which is good, without mentioning some of the challenges that we are facing today in this world. I want to listen to a khutbah that will tell me how to deal with the digital world, how to deal with the internet, how to deal with those people who lie to me online. Na mimi waambia siku hizi wasichana wetu, utadanganywa unapendwa online, utapostwa online, utaolewa online, utapewa talaka online. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Now, I think that makes more sense to this digital people right now here. Now, sister, on to you. When we speak about youth involvement or youth giving back to the community, it is a norm in our society that most people look at the male child, or when I tell the boy child, look at the boy child. Look at how the Shabab can give back by, using the vigorous energy that they have and doing things practically. For most of our sisters, especially here in campus, if I can give an example, you will hear them coming with excuses such as, oh, on Sunday, since I'm coming from home, I won't be allowed to come for the meeting. Perhaps it's a meeting to plan such an event. They will give you such an excuse saying that at home, I have some some restrictions that do not allow me to unleash my full potential in giving back to the community. Well, in light of this, I don't know what ways you can advise these sisters of ours, that what ways they can inoculate and give back more to the community despite being women. Because I recognize that Islam is not a religion that oppresses the women. It believes in giving a chance to everyone, and anyone has a role to play in the society. So I don't know, regarding this, what do you have to say?
Thank you, brother, and assalamu alaikum, my dear sisters and brothers. Yes, first I'm sorry to miss out on the important issues because I normally don't come late, but I had other commitment. That aside, I will contribute on what my brother has raised here, that there is more freedom for the boy child, unlike the girl child, for them to be able to contribute to the societal. My take is Islam has actually positioned the mother, the woman, quite a strategic place ahead of a man. And this can be perceived by the 3 times that the Prophet had advised a person who asked him who should be the first to be considered the best, and the person he referred to mother 3 times. That is the position we have in terms of religion, and we also have the wives of the Prophet who are also there with him and supporting him throughout the struggles to speak about the Islam and spread Islam. They had their own role as much as they are women. So for us to shy off from taking roles, that is no place in religion, because I think religion has placed women in a more strategic position, and it has appreciated their contribution to the society and humanity. So I think there is a kind of conflict between culture and religion, that I would say, that is actually holding back the women. That whatever we are doing is much of a cultural perspective, that women plays is in the kitchen, and we appreciate it by trying to take up that role as ladies. What I have to say is that you can be able to contribute equally as a male child to the existence of this livelihood, that you can also double up as a profession, as a mother, as a community worker. Because if I can give my experience, I am a mother of 3. I'm also a profession. I'm also paying back to the society by sacrificing my free time. Because this is one way that I normally appreciate, and what I feel most fulfilled in is actually the bit of paying back to the society. The time that I have to sacrifice to be with you is more fulfilling than maybe the work that I have to go to every day. Because this comes back as blessings to me. And my word to the girls and relatively to the boys is that we must learn to balance life. That at no cost that you will overemphasize one bit of your life and compromise the rest. That you must be a holistic person in life for you to be able to accommodate. But this is how you transform yourself. How do you divide the times between your study, between your family, between the community work? Because we all have an obligation to pay back to the society. There are challenges around us. There are always a way that you can pay back to the society. And therefore the girls should not be restricted by the cultural beliefs and attitudes. They should also be upfront in terms of speaking, in terms of taking roles in the society, through maybe even talking can make an impact. Even utilizing that technology that Daktari has said is being used to divorce you or to engage you can consecutively be used from your house if you are not able to go out to impact a life. So let's look at how do we use whatever tool that we have as ladies. If we are not bold enough to step outside there, how do I, even by sitting in my comforts in the household, do I pay back to the society? Because we are living in a world that has made things so simplified for us. By just posting one message, you may have changed lives of others. And I would just pick one youth girl, Malala. She was a 15-year-old Pakistani girl, and she stood up for the girl education. But unfortunately, she was killed by the Taliban at that tender age, 15-year-old. So at this level, you should try to think, what can I do differently? There was also a young, small boy, somebody from same Pakistan, a 12-year-old, who had to advocate for harmful practices against the girl child, 12 years. And he managed to actually release over 3,000 kids that were being used as labor. So even at that small age, small kids would be able to make a significant contribution to the society despite losing their life. How bold are you to move from your comfort zone and try to change a life and make an impact? Because you may have been dead, but your deeds will live to speak and be an example for the others to pick up and contribute. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, back to you, Sheikh Rashad. We unfortunately, if I can put it that way, we were born in an era, most of us in this room are born 94s kujaju hivyo. And shortly after 94, 95 in Kenya, we had a very major incident that really portrayed Muslims in a very negative way, sending all sorts of misconceptions and blaming Islam for extremism and radicalization. And it's sad that through the 20 plus years of my life, I have always walked around knowing that it's not hard for someone to blame me for terrorism at any point in time. For one, because of my religion, because of the way I look. And I don't blame them partly. But again, I'm not okay to continue living in such a society for years and also bring my children to the same kind of society. So, responsibility is it to change this particular mistake. And if we as individuals, as the youth, what can we do? Because at the same time these misconceptions come, they come with so much hate that it is understandable for someone in their youthful age to react to them harshly. So I don't know, can you say to advise us on this matter?
Bismillah, salatu salam ala Rasulullah once again. I think, you see, Islamophobia is a world phenomenon, and it's unfortunate, but it's something we have to live with, and maybe partly we are to blame for it, because you see, we are apologetic Muslims, we are very conservative with our religion. So when these people are out propagating the ills of our religion, we are not out there to defend our religion. I'm not saying, you see, we have, okay, maybe the people that have public forums can defend the religion in the public forums. But how are we carrying ourselves as Muslims? You see, as Muslims, when we live with people, we need to showcase our religion. I believe that is one of the things that will really... Islam is a misunderstood religion. Islam is a misunderstood religion. And the only way the society that is non-Islamic can understand us is if we showcase the true religion of Islam. And that can only be done if we know our religion. Now the disadvantage is, how many of us can actually defend the religion at the point of knowledge? You see, and that is why most of us get really emotional when these things come up in forums. We get annoyed, we become angry, we become abusive, and then it actually, comes back to us again. You see, it's because we don't have knowledge. A lady should be able to say why she clads hijab, why she's putting on hijab, and that it is not an oppression. And why isn't it an oppression? Not by simply saying, it's a rule of law, Allah has commanded us and we have to do. Yes, we know. But you see, some people need to understand, why am I different when I clad hijab? And this hijab, what is it restricting me from? Nothing. Because I don't believe today that a Muslim woman in hijab can do anything any other Muslim, any other lady that is not a Muslim can do. And probably they will do it even better. Because one, they are focused, one, they believe in their God, one, they adhere to the teachings of this religion, and they'll do it for the sake of God and the public and etc. The same to the Muslim man. That you see, when we don't know our religion, then it becomes very difficult for us to actually defend this religion. So one, we see we are not practicing today. There is no difference. You see, one thing we really need to realize in life is that Rasul went to a very great extent when the Muslims were living with the non-Muslims to want, even in their dressing, which was the same, to be different. And that is why when the Muslims wear the turban, their turbans have to have a tail. So that the Rasul wanted to differentiate between the Jews and the Muslims, yes? Today we are all dressed in suits. So how do I differentiate Ibrahim Lithome, a Muslim lawyer, from these other lawyers? I'm supposed to be able to do that. Me, Rishad, and another person that is not a Muslim. We are supposed to be distinguished by our character. Our character. No, Aqidah is something different. You see, Aqidah is a belief in your heart of Tawheed and etc. My character. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam preached this religion. So many people embraced it not because of his words, but because of his deeds and actions, which today we lack. We are Muslims in speech, but we are not Muslims in action. How are we treating these non-Muslims when we are with them? Are we treating them with the same compassion Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed the non-Muslims in his lifetime? And are we telling people about the fact that the first people to ever, we can never be enemies with, you see, people believe that the kuffar are our enemies. Who said so? See, also, these are things that really need to be, our people have been brainwashed that we cannot we cannot help the non-Muslims. We cannot mingle with them. We cannot do business with them. They are non-Muslims. They are going to hell. And so many of these other things. Who say that? We can transact in business with them so that they get to know how to do it without interest and how to do it fairly and without oppression. We can go to their restaurants and show them, tell them mimi nala halal and this is how it should be done, so that the next time another Muslim walks into their restaurants, they actually know how to treat us. They come to our restaurants. Believe me, they want to know our religion, but they are not going to read it. They will look at us and then judge the entire religion based on their look of an individual. This is where we really need to be careful. How do we carry ourselves? Because when they look at you, they know you're a Muslim. How will you carry yourself until we demystify to the entire nation and the world that this is truly the religion of peace? It is a solution to all the problems of the world.
I believe that is a very important message for each and every one of us to carry home, because it should be part and parcel of how we conduct ourselves day in, day out. Brother Ibrahim Lithome, again back to you. You are one person in a career that's, I will say, most Muslim youth, me being one of them as an example, have been strongly advised not to venture into. I don't know what gives you the confidence to stand up here in front of this gathering and clearly announce that you are an advocate of the High Court of Kenya.
Let me tell you one thing. Had I been allowed to go here without being asked that question, I would have been surprised. Because it's a question that I've learned to live in. You could see I already knew the question that was coming. But before that, allow me just to chip in what the question that you asked, Sheikh. Because this is one of the biggest problems facing us as Muslims today. I travel a lot. I intermingle with so many people within the country and outside on this subject of radicalization, violent extremism. To the extent that I know myself, somebody was so free with me, who is not a Muslim, and he told me, we've reached to a point where when we see a very young Muslim, we see a potential terrorist. A youthful one like you, a current terrorist. An old one like me, retired one or an advisor. That is the impression that has been created. After the Garissa massacre, Garissa University College, my relatives from Narok came, a delegation, 3 cars, they were coming to persuade me. Why are you still in this religion of murderers? Kwa nini bado uko katika dini ya wauaji? Of course, I sat down with them and I explained to them. It is something that we have to live with today. But should it make us weaker Muslims or stronger Muslims? Stronger Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us in the Quran, Asa an takrahu shay'an wa huwa khayrun lakum. It's something bad to be blanketly condemned and everyone is seen as a criminal, yet we are not. But believe me, out of this, so many people are reading the Quran now and they want to understand what Islam is. I've just come from a forum where we were talking to Christians. They want to know the meaning of jihad, the true meaning of jihad, because it was confusing. So we have, in all this confusion, we have an opportunity. Not only through word of mouth. I want to join what Ustad said here, by our character, to correct these misconceptions. But let me ask you, you know, as a Muslims, we are told, Hasibu anfusakum qabla an tuhasabu. Can we ask ourselves some very painful questions? Is it true that there are people who are perpetrating terrorism, or whatever you want to call it, claiming it is Islamic? Or do we have people like that? Yes, that is the world we are living in. The other bitter truth, and sometimes when I talk in the presence of people in government, they look at me and wonder, are we dealing with a terrorist? Is this? In this country, ask anybody, whether you're from Mombasa, Lamu, Northeastern, Kajiado, or whatever, do we have people with genuine grievances in this country? The answer is yes. Ukiuliza mtu wa Lamu atakwambia, miaka nenda, miaka rudi tunaambiwa barabara kutoka Wito mpaka Lamu, Mokoe, itatiliwa lami. Ishatiliwa lami. Watu wa Amu, ama hamko hapa. Northeastern province, ask anybody from Northeastern, except now after the counties came, at least now, I know teachers used to show children tarmac on the blackboard. This is a blackboard. It used to be like a teaching aid. They never used to see. You would be born and die without seeing the tarmac. Alhamdulillah, because of devolution, people of Mandera now can see tarmac and Wajir. Alhamdulillah. Ask them. They will tell you the grievances they have. Marginalization, water problems. I keep on telling people there is an animal called danyer. Danyer in Kisomali means baboon. In a place called Takaba, I ever witnessed danyer fighting with human beings over water. Na kwanza ni maji chafu. Danyer is a baboon. But they are in Kenya, so they have genuine concerns. We have genuine concerns. All over the country, we have genuine concerns. And Muslims even more. When I applied for my passport, I went there together with my cousin, who shares the same surname, Lethome. But his name is Stanley Lethome. I'm Ibrahim Lethome. He got his passport before me. I felt I'm discriminated. And I'm sure this is an experience that all of you live in. I'm a Sivio. You have experiences. Yeah, people from Northeastern. I went with a friend to a place called Sagana, and it was on a Sunday, just before elections, and the chief was moving around in a vehicle, calling the youth, mtu yoyote ambaye hana kitambulisho, kijana, kujeni ofisini niwape kitambulisho. Now this Somali guy is ambia, Oria, sugwa, ngoja kidogo nikuulize. Is this Kenya? I'm hearing watu wanaitiwa vitambulisho. Na kwetu tunangoja miaka hiyo miwili. Is that true or not true? Now, grievances are there. And to that extent, for some of the youth who feel agitated because of the grievances, if the grievances are genuine, I am with you. But where we part ways, and this is where we give Islam a bad name, is when we see violence as the only solution to our problems, we lose it. Al-ghayatu la tubarrir al-wasila. The end does not justify the means. We should look for the best way to address our grievances. Halafu Waswahili wanakwambia, I'm not a Swahili, but I've learned. Hasidi hana sababu. A person who does not like you doesn't need a reason. What happens if you give them a reason? So we need to think about our character. Can we be the good ambassadors of Islam even when dealing with the non-Muslims? I know you might pick a few verses here and there, but I want you to pick the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَهُوَ قُدْوَتُنَا. He's our best example. What did he teach us about neighbors? Whether Muslims, Jews, no religion at all. وَاللَّهِ لَا يُؤْمِنْ وَاللَّهِ لَا يُؤْمِنْ وَاللَّهِ لَا يُؤْمِنْ قِيلَ مَنْ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ قال من لا يأمن جاره بوائقه. A person whose neighbor, he didn't say a Muslim neighbor, any neighbor. If your neighbor is happy only when umeenda safari, sema alhamdulillah lisha kwenda safari, then you're not a good Muslim. Ina maana hata ukifa, they will say alhamdulillah alladhi arahana minhu. Yeah, they will say that alhamdulillah umetuondolea. So what I want to emphasize, at this time when the name of Islam has been tarnished, can we use our character to correct that image without, underline this, compromising our religion? I hate people who go around and saying hakuna jihad katika Islam, ittaqillah, ilahi kahafso. Jihad is there in Islam. Ama sivyo? Ahamti jihad is there in Islam, lakini ina utaratibu wake. We need, unatarajia bishop ndio ataenda kufundisha mambo ya jihad. It is me and you. But the true jihad in Islam, can we reform the image of Islam through our character? Back to the question. As a lawyer, how do I dare stand and talk? And I know, Surah Al-Ma'idah, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ الظَّالِمُونَ, and the rest. Yes. I graduated from university. I finished my master's degree in Kenya School of Law, 1996. And the first, some of you are not born. The first question nimeulizwa, Sheikh, umesoma dini na umesoma hii, unaenda kufanya hii sheria ya kikafiri ya nini? It really depressed me. Kwanza kufunga tai, niliambiwa kwanza inafanana na msalaba. Yes, tai hiyo umefunga ustadh hapo hivi. And these are close people, kina Abu Hamza na wengine, my very close friends. Allah, shida hii. Fortunately, of course I felt so depressed because I wanted to be a lawyer, but a Muslim lawyer. I have Sharia. I've studied Sharia up to master's level. I've done law up to master's level, post and any graduate at Kenya School of Law. Here I am. I want to be a sheikh and I want to be a lawyer. Shida. Alhamdulillah, I got a chance to go to Riyadh. And I met Sheikh Ibn Baz. I had lunch with him a few months before he died. Allah yarhamu. It was planned by some people. Some people who conspired to make sure I eat lunch with him. So nikamwambia Sheikh, niko na shida hapa. I have a problem. Inde mushkila, Sheikh. Ana muhami wa ana Sheikh. Wa aishu fi baladin kafira. Hal yajuzu li an umaris al-muhama fi baladin ma? Namwambia, Sheikh, mimi naishi katika nchi ambayo si ya Kiislamu na I'm an advocate. Is it right for me? Because now I want to get an answer from a scholar like him. And he told me, do you have Muslims living in that country? I said, yes. Are they subjects of the same laws of the country? I said, yes. Idhan hadha faradun kifaya alayk. But you go there with the intention, Nasrul Madlum, Nusratul Madlum, to rescue the madlum and select what you have to do. I know, we lawyers, how we are trained. At the Kenya School of Law, one of my lecturers there told me, Ibrahim, you're about to graduate and become a lawyer. Number one, if by the end of the first year of your practice, you are not able to drive the latest model of a BMW from Stuttgart, straight from Stuttgart, you have no business being here. The case of your client is not yours. Don't be emotionally involved in his case. Whether they lose it or they win, as long as they pay your fees. I've not yet owned a BMW after practicing all these years. But one thing I learned is this, and I want to encourage those of you who want to be lawyers. We need as many Muslim lawyers as possible. But there is a rider. Ilahi kahafso, ittaqillah. Ogopa Mwenyezi Mungu. Choose what cases to take and what cases not to take. I've only done one criminal matter in 15 years. One only. And I was very sure huyu mtu amedhulumiwa. I only do civil matters and I choose. But the first case that came to me, ilikuwa ni fitna. And let me tell you, if you think that fitna is only in me, if you are an architect, somebody comes and tells you, I want to build a brewery here. Nichoree. Atakwambia, wewe sio hutakunywa, wewe unanichorea. Haramu ama sio haramu ukimchorea? Okay, do you have the choice of saying no, hii siwezi kuchora? Yes. My first case, jamaa amekuja na cheki ya 400,000. I don't even have a computer at that time. Donaanza. Ananiambia, I don't care how much you're going to spend out of these 400,000. I want you to incorporate for me a company, okay? Do the articles and memorandum of association, register a company for me. But the company will be for export and the import of wines and spirits. Hey, hii check inaenda. Hii sasa imekuwa na shida. And I need it. I need to pay rent. I want to buy a computer. Then, in future, my company will also establish casinos. Ai, shida hii wallahi bilisi sasa kabisa. Now, I have a check here. Nikiangalia, if I do the work, I will remain with minimum 250,000. Can you imagine? That is 1996, 250,000 just doing that work. I called my partner. Unaonaje? Kaniambia unajua sasa hapa dini kando, kazi kando. Nikamwambia now naona hapa ni shida bana. So I decided to go and consult a sheikh. I'll not mention the sheikh. Kaniambia, please, al-halalu bayin wal-haramu bayin. What is halal is clear, what is haram is clear. Rudisha check. This is not for you. So I left the check. And the guy wanted to ask me, okay, show me a lawyer who can do it. I said, no. Islam is such that even me directing you to another lawyer, dhambi nishaibeba pia. So what I want to say is this. Any profession, you can get into haram. If let's say you are an accountant, and I'm sure some of you want to be auditors, unaweza kufanya haramu, mwezi kufanya haramu ndani yake? Yes, computer errors. You just manufacture some computer errors, you add zeros, and that is it. Itakosha ingia kwenye haramu, ama sivyo? Medicine. How many students are doing medicine here? Medical students? MashaAllah. Somebody comes to procure an abortion and you help them. Ushaingia kwenye dhambi ama hujaingia katika dhambi? Kwa hivyo tusiingie katika medicine. So any profession. And I want to encourage particularly my daughters there. We need as many of you as possible. Why? Wengi ambao wanahitaji msaada wa mawakili ni wanawake. They have na shida hii divorce matters. I hope there will be a question about mambo ya talaka zimezidi kwetu. Mama anakuja, very sensitive things, but she wants representation from me. And a lawyer is like a doctor. You know, a doctor huwezi kumwambia, daktari naumwa na mahali fulani. Wapi? Mahali pengine siwezi kukuambia, hutatibiwa. So lawyers atakuuliza maswali yote. Shida yako na mume wako ni nini? Mwingine anaanza kukwambia, unajua mume wangu hulala mvunguni badala ya kulala juu ya kitanda. What do you mean? What do you mean? But you can imagine if she was with a fellow lady, atamwambia mume wangu hanitimizie yale alionileta kutoka kwetu kuja hapa. But so we need lawyers, Muslim lawyers, who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are able to choose what is halal and what is haram. The more reason why, whatever profession you are, learn your religion. It will guide you away from haram. Utakula riziki ya halali na utajiepusha na haramu. So, how many lawyers do you have here? Aspiring lawyers? Keep up. Sisters, not a single one. Sisters, oh, very good. Keep up. Welcome, learned colleague, Santi.
Sheikh just mentioned something very important about divorce. But before we get to a divorce, there's usually marriage. And the Sheikh here, Sheikh Rashad, has really encouraged the Muslim youth to get into marriage, to use it as a shield. But again, in our society again, I like to pose this kind of question to you on a perspective of a woman. Because our society has a norm that when such matters are being talked about, we mostly focus about the man. So when seeking a spouse, there are clear and definitive etiquettes for a male to look. These are the certain characters or etiquettes you should look for in a spouse before getting married. But what of the other side? What etiquettes should the women look at when searching for a spouse or before they accept a spouse? Because we don't want it to get to a situation, we've already been told we have very minimum lady lawyers out there, and we don't want it to get to a situation where more sisters are forced to go and talk to male lawyers to help them. We have to treat it from down there before the cause itself. So what etiquettes should the ladies look on?
Thank you so much, my brother. It's a very tricky question and a bit personal, because I think whatever etiquette one may prefer may not apply to another. But my advice is that when you're looking out to a possible spouse, you need to understand the person first before you rush to the conclusion in terms of making up your mind to want to go straight to marriage. You give yourself some time to look at the character of this person. Does he have faith first in God? Because if somebody is faithful and he has that knowledge of Islam, then he will appreciate what responsibilities he has to carry.
Allow me to interrupt.
Yes.
And isn't it at this same moment that we bring this concept of courtship and dating?
Yeah, fine. The courtship may not be acceptable, probably. I don't know. It depends with also, again, culture and religion. But it is good to observe. You know, when you want to get married, definitely you have to interact with the other partner, but not going to the extremes. So during your courtship, probably, then you need to appreciate what kind of this person is in terms of faith in God, because, again, it all starts from there. Because when the person is faithful and has knowledge of Islam, then he will know what obligations of a husband he will have. And for the ladies, again, you need to look at what kind of future are you looking at. Because there are also times that you make a decision today not thinking about tomorrow. What is your destination, for instance? Because if you are for looking forward to progressing your career, does this person support your progression? Is it a person who is going to hold your hands when you are weak and encourage you to move on to the next level? Or is it a man who is looking at stopping your dreams? Because, again, if you are going to looking at a future and you marry a person who is not feeling threatened by a progress of a woman, then you will not reach far. Your chances of being left at home and even being told, you know, Islam does not allow women to go out there and look for livelihood will come. There will be given all sort of excuses to make sure that you remain in the house. So look at your dreams. Where do you want to reach? Is this person supportive enough? And then look at what is the right time. My brother here said, you know, you can, if you can't wait, you can also start a bit earlier, immediately after class 8, then you move on. Fine, it happened to me because I got married after my first degree, but lucky enough it didn't affect me. I got to the second and to the third while I was still in marriage. But it actually depends on how did you negotiate, because my word was clear from beginning that, you know, my destination is to get a PhD. Are you going to walk the journey with me? Are you going to support me on my course? And the person committed. And that is how I didn't mind to balance between family time and my academic time and still realize my goal. And he supported me also in the Islamic, because I went to the Duxi. I can declare that I went to the Duxi, but currently I had to now go through the more formalized way of learning Quran, and lucky enough I have done the reading to the end, but now doing the translation, because I have to learn Arabic for me to be able to understand, which is a course that he also encouraged me to do. Because if you have that, looking at that kind of a person, then you can see a future. So choose your spouse well, both sides, again. Because this world, as Daktari has clearly put, you are not only living here to prepare for the hereafter. Fine, we may need to prepare for the hereafter, but we have to live the life today. So does it mean that you are not going to look for a better woman who is also going to help you move forward? So either way, we just have to look at what are the right characters in each of these persons and walk the whole journey together without cutting any of the other person's dreams apart. Because I think together, once you decide, then you can move forward and realize your dreams. Yeah, thank you.
The same topic, because I don't want to be told that nimeskiza wanawake peke yake. I know a coin has both sides, so I will also give a quick chance to both sheikhs. Inshallah, if they have anything to add on that, quick 2 minutes.
Quick 2 minutes. Wow. Right. Okay, we have two hadiths that will help us do this, and one of them, if it If it's a man who's looking for a wife, then the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has a solution for us. And he says, تنكح المرأة بأربع بمالها بجمالها بحسبها وبدينها فاظفر بذات الدين تربت يدك. A woman is married for 4 reasons. If you didn't know, you gentlemen, a woman is married for 4 reasons. For her beauty, her wealth, her lineage, yani mtoto wa nani, you know, familia yake, and for her religion. Rasul says, go for the religion. You will be safe. Right? When it is a woman looking for a man, the Rasul has told us, إِذَا أَتَاكُمْ مَنْ تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ وَخُلُقَهُ فَزَوِّجُوهُ. If there comes a man who you are pleased with his religion, and you're also pleased with his character, then get him married to your daughter. وَإِلَّا تَكُنْ فِتْنَةً. Or there's going to be a fitna after that. Now, when you look at this, it looks like a simple saying. إِذَا أَتَاكُمْ مَنْ تَرْضَوْنَ. If there comes a person that you are pleased, are you going to be pleased with his character and his religion? We have to investigate. Send people, wende wakaone. Get to know, hapa ni Nairobi, anaswali msikiti gani? Imamu wao msikiti ni nani? In fact, these are questions that we should be asking. Ryan anakuja nataka mke. Niambie ni msikiti gani unaswali na imamu wao msikiti ni nani? Who are your friends? Investigate the people that he is working with. And don't shy away. The problem is, by the time these boys are coming home, or the boys bringing the girl or the girl is, they're already in love, head over heels. It is this one, ama mimi nakula sumu, ama mimi natoka nje, ama mtajipanga. You know, now you're putting a parent in such an emergency situation. Asipowezesha jilaumu. But you see, like Daktari alivyosema, this is your life. You are in love today. Love is like temperature, they'll tell you. Inapanda leo, kesho inashuka. Tazile ikishuka, then what? If you just married him for his face, because he's handsome, and anavaa surali ya kubana vizuri, you know, ana 6 packs, fine. Akushampikia machapati na mayai asubuhi, 6 pack ikipotea, then what? You married her for her face. After she gives birth, 3 children, she has a tummy that she cannot reduce. Haitoki ile baby fat haiende. Amekuwa na cheeks, ile beauty imepotea, dimples zimeenda. Utufanyeje? So you see, these are issues we need to look at. Rasul, in Islam, you actually told, go look at the mother. Kwenda kwao ule mtoto wa kike, musibatishe jamaa. The biggest problem that we gamble. We look at her, mashallah. Remember, hips can be bought. Chest, breast are bought. In fact, even you girls, when these boys, they are pretenders. Picha mtu anafanya editing nowadays, Photoshop. Tunaweza kuwa wope, mimi na doktora hapa tukawa wope, just because of the phone imetuongeza highlights. Nikija in reality na makengeza, then what? So please go investigate, ask. Toa maanti wende. It's not supposed to be mtu akija unajibiwa in 2 weeks. Are we desperate? Let 3 months work. Ask, because this is a life partner. But you see, the Qadhi, the other day it was in the Nation, a whole page. The Chief Qadhi is complaining of the rampant divorce rates. In fact, it's my PhD. I'm studying that. I will be studying that for my PhD, inshallah, to try and bring up solutions. Right now in December in Mombasa, every weekend tuna biriani na halua. 6 months down the line, this all majority of the 70% of them will be in the courts asking for the Qadhi for a divorce. What is happening? Because sisi, just like technology, maisha yetu pia yamekuwa ni technology. We are, this is life. Marriage is life. And you know, we cannot be divorced. We cannot, you know, we have to be, and especially our sisters, you have to be careful. You don't want to be married by anyway unahisi tumeolewa na wanaume 10. I know a girl like that. And she's so lucky. And akiachwa watu wanamtaka. I don't know. Ni mashallah na baraka gani. But seriously, that's not a life. So please, you don't want to have 5 children with 5 different fathers. You people, you don't want to get married to a woman every other month, every other year. So can we take marriage is what? Half of the religion. من تزوج فقد استكمل نفس دينه فليتق الله في نفس الباقي. He who gets married has completed half of his religion. So fear God in the other part that is left. Marriage is half of your religion. So this lady that you're marrying is just not supposed to be a model or nini. Me, I say this: look for a mother of your children. When you're getting married, look at a lady who is going to be a mother to your children. A lady who you will empower and she will empower you. Antum libasun lakum wa hunna libasun lakum. You are their clothing and you are their garments and their garments. Madam, alhamdulillah, got somebody that amempeleka paka kasoma, amekwenda naye paka PhD, amemsupport. These you need to look for such men. Those men are not found in Facebook and in internet. Those men are sorted for. We were talking with Sheikh Badru the other day. We'll start to plan. Kama nyie mujipangi, sitaanza kumtafuta Ibrahim Lithome bana, na msichana wangu nitaka nikuozeshe because I know Ibrahim amemlea vizuri. Na mimi bana na kiume bana nitakuletea. Sisi mashekh tunaanza kujipanga maana tunaona kumedhoka huko nje. But you see, asa nyinyi mtajipanga vipi? So this is the thing. A girl, hii mambo ya love me, love you, tafadhali. Love begins in a marriage. Wa min ayatihi an khalaqa lakum min anfusikum azwaja. A relationship between a man and a woman starts with what? Marriage. Sisi hatuna courtship in Islam. Ati nikupeleke Java nikakuone vile ulivyo. Nitakwenda nyumbani nimpeleke mamangu, nyanya, shosho, nani hawa, wende wakaulize, waangalie, wende as many times paka weze kukujua wewe ni mtu wa aina gani, then we get married. Na nyinyi tumeni watu wetu waje wajue. Mimi nilipotaka kuoa I was investigated. Naitwa shekhe na I was investigated. Haniambie mtu aje kubatisha na nyinyi kutakuwaje? Si zaza hilo mtu atafuta. So girls don't accept ati sijui jamani university nini. Okay, I've seen, I have my teachers wengi wameoa. By the way, many of these people meet Sheikh in the university. Hawa wananye kwenye hapa. I've met many. Wote ukiuliza wamekutana university. Inshallah, maybe through the university you are able to see huyu jamani mtu aina gani, and who the lady is what kind of a lady. Maybe you were able to know that is what attracted you. But I do believe we're living in a time about kwamba divorce has been, in fact, girls are not even scared to tell you ameachwa. Zamani mtu akiachwa, it's a secret, it's a big shame, madam. It's a big shame, sister. Nowadays it's okay. People, it's like they're in fact, somebody is bragging how much yani alimkata mume, walked away from a marriage. It's not supposed to be like that. So let us go back to the basics. Our religion, alhamdulillah, is complete. Like we said in the beginning, it has everything. Shida ni sisi hatutaki kujua. We, mashallah, Google about everything. In fact, Sheikh spoke about something. Today, you have no reason to be ignorant in Islam. Today, you have no reason to be ignorant in Islam because you don't need to go to a madrasa anymore. We have sheikhs online. If it is Menk, if it is Yasser Kadhi, if it is Khan yule walanda, everybody, paka mashekh wa Saudi, if you know Arabic, they are online. Today, not knowing your religion is intended ignorance, and which is wrong. And in fact, we are a generation that will have a lot of trouble with our Lord because today religion is at the touch of your phone. So please, let's learn our religion. Let us stop being, we have a religion that is complete, has its values. Let's adhere to them. And wallahi matatizo yote, Rasul knew we are going to be living in such a world. And he has prepared us. Ndo utakuta in Islam, like I'm telling you, in Islam, iko. Nenda, in fact, nyinyi mwangalie mambo, wafaa kwenda ukaangalie kizazi. Usijiolee tu, hawazai labda. One of the things you're supposed to go ask, wanazaa watoto ngapi? Labda wao family wanazaa watoto wa kike peke yake. Labda wazaa twins. Labda kuna maradhi kwenye familia yao. Imagine ikiwa wewe kwenu kuna maradhi ya sukari na wao mtoto wa kike ambao kwamba kwao baba na mama wote wana sukari. It means your children are prone to get diabetics more than any other. The probability is high. These are the things that you should be looking at. So just intelligence, by the way, it matters. Kuna watu kwa werevu, kuna watu ukicheki yani mathala they don't really. So these are things we need to look at. And you are not going to look to just to see a girl in the university or a boy in the university and you get to know these things. Investigate. It's not about falling in love. You're looking for a lifelong partner. Like I said, love is like temperature. 3 months, 6 uliza mwenye kuoa, 3 months down the line, you are so busy, to say I love you in the houses becomes routine. Uliza mutambio. So if you didn't marry the right person, in 6 months' time, you end up realizing you've made a mistake. Now you want out, and it's too late. So let's not make mistakes. Our religion has guided us. Please, let's not be in a hurry. Let's not be in a hurry to see na tusiharibie dada zetu maisha na sisi tusiharibu maisha yetu. Shukran wa jazakumullah khair.
Yeah, I think I have to add my voice to this. This building stands today because the foundation was sound. If the foundation of this building was not sound, it will not be standing today. Many years. Jamia Mosque there is almost 100 years old because the foundation was strong. So the reason why there's a lot of divorce, and unfortunately, as a lawyer, I meet a lot of those cases. I have very many cases. It's because of the foundation. The Sheikh has said the guidelines of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we parents also have contributed. We as parents. I'm a father of 4 daughters. Mtu akija anataka kuposa binti yangu. Sheikh, the first thing unaangalia amepark gari pale nje. Ole wao kama ameletwa na bodaboda. Most likely hakuna kuzungumza naye. Kama Probox, maybe tutazungumza. VX, of course, why not? So badala ya kuangalia hizo sifa ustadhi unazungumzia, most of us just look at the material. Anafanya kazi wapi? Anafanya nini? Pili, instead of looking at religion and character, because religion is translated into character if that person is a practicing Muslim. Tunaangalia mambo mengine hayana msingi wa kidini kabisa. Let's take an example of Sophia from Mombasa. Kama kuna Sophia hapo ni mfano tunatoa. Ama Halima. Mama, nimepatana na mtu ataka kunioa, atakuja kuwaona. Kutoka wapi? Anaitwa Muhammad Onyango. La haula wala quwwata illa billah. Mwanangu, umekosa mtoto wa kijamaa, watuletea mtu wa kutoka huko nywele ngumu. Watoto wa kijamaa wamejaa huku. Vuka twende pande yetu ya Northeastern Province. Tauliza Halimo, haye, ishek. Ambiwe kuna jamaa mmoja hapa Mkikuyu au Cherer, nasabdiman madmado. Warea ila ama sivyo? Tunaangalia ukabila. Iko ama hakuna?
Very true, iko.
Iko kabisa. Unaenda hapa Wanubi, Kibra, unasikia msichana anataka kuolewa na jamaa ambaye si Mnubi. Unakuolewa na Mwafrika wewe, sisi Waarabu. La haula wala quwwata illa billah. Al-qabliyatul muntina. Mambo ambayo hatukuambiwa na Rasul tuangalie. That is the reason why tumeambiwa binti yako ukimuoza mtu ambaye ni mchaji Mungu, one of 2 things will happen. Idha ahabbaha akramaha. Akimpenda atamfanyia wema. Na je, chemistry ikikosa kufanya kazi, temperature ikienda chini, lam yadhlimuha, hatomdhulumu. So both ways you are safe. Mwanamke naye kama umemchukua kwa sababu ya uzuri wake, it's not permanent. Leo ana shape, kesho itafika wakati you don't know whether she's going away or coming. You know, kama drum, what will you do now? If shape ndio ilikupeleka huko, imekwisha. So please, if we focus on our religion, the foundation will be good. That is the foundation. Haya, nikah. Wazee wengine utasikia sasa wanaenda kunegotiate mahari, utafikiri ni prize. It is the prize of this girl. Is that Islamic? Nasikia ndugu zangu, mashemeji zangu wa Somali wana msemo, I don't know, I've looked at the Quran nipate hiyo sijapata. Wanasema afar kalmun ni 4 cows. Lavachir, they have to be 2 years old. Kitab, and it is in the kitab. Sijaipata. Ati kuna mahari standard. Mahari standard. Nani aliweka mahari standard? So parents are also contributing. Nyingine ambayo nitawaambia, alafu niwaambie hii hatari ya mambo ya online. After marriage, instead of people focusing on wajibat, they're focusing on hukuk. Utasikia mtu anasema haki yangu. Most of the cases I handle ni haki yangu, haki yangu. What about your responsibilities? The reason why you survived until you did your PhD is because he was not only focusing on his rights, but also on his responsibilities towards you. Look for a person who knows his responsibilities as a man. Look for a woman who knows her wajibat. Finally, your life before marriage can haunt you in marriage, especially with this gadget here, online. I'm going to give you a practical case that I'm handling now without mentioning names. A lady got married to somebody. One of the conditions alimpa, nataka password zako zote. Oh yes? And because she was madly in love, and it was either take it or leave it. Akampa password ya kila kitu. It happened. She studied abroad. She had boyfriends in her other life. You know yourselves. If you do what she did, jirekebishe kwanzia leo. Hasibu anfusakum. Kila mmoja anajijua. Bali insanu ala nafsihi basira. In her other life, walikuwa wanatumiana picha na the boyfriend. Na sio picha amevaa niqab, ama hijab, ama nguo. Yes? You know yourselves. You know what you do, what kind of pictures you exchange. She happened to exchange nude photos with the other person. Maisha hiyo imeisha. Ameshaitoa online ama iko somewhere in the system iko. That picture you shared with somebody, you deleted, it is still somewhere in the system. It could haunt you. Now that they have a case in court, and this man wants to show how evil this woman is, ameziprint zote, amezidownload, akaziprint. Some of them I didn't even want to look at them. So your previous life can haunt you. Your own girlfriends can betray you. Mnatumiana picha, ni msichana mwenzangu. And it is happening. Mnaweza kukataa saa hizi, na sitaki kuambia muinue mikono. You know yourselves. Allah anakuona. Ilahi kahaf, so ogopa Mwenyezi Mungu. This girl shared a nude photo with another girl, not knowing that this girl had conspired with a boy to blackmail her. Akamtumia huyu kijana tena ni Waislamu. Akamletea ule msichana picha, akamwambia unaona hii picha? I have it. Every day I want this amount of money from you. I don't care where you're going to get it from. If not, amtumia babako hii picha. Kuna msichana, do you want your father to see that? So every day he was looking for money through whatever means to keep this story not reaching the father. Something small you do, it will haunt you. Finally, I want you to Google this name. Carly Ryan. C-A-R-L-Y. That is one name. The second name is R-Y-A-N. This is a story that made us cry. I was in Egypt, Al-Azhar, Shaykhatul Azhar. A lady, we were talking about the dignity of our youth in the digital world. Kuna mama alitufanya tulie, the mother of that girl. You can Google that, read that story, and especially our daughters there. 17-year-old girl fell in love online with a man who sent a handsome photo of a 19-year-old musician. The girl fell in love online. 1 year down the line, the man convinced her to meet him physically now when the mother was not there. It's the girl who never used to leave the house. Get into train number this, get to bus number this, building number this, or room number this. She found herself with a man 58 years old. She said, it's not you. He said, it's me who has been communicating with you. Milango ishafungwa. She was raped. And as if that is not enough, today, as we speak, she's not there. She was murdered by the same man. And this is not fiction. That's why I want you to Google. It could happen to you or my daughter. And the way she was murdered is also very cruel. She was taken to the beach. Those of you who are conversant with the sand at the beach. Akaingizwa uso kwenye changarawe. She was suffocated by the sand until she died. Ryan today is dead. I met the mother who is moving all over the world now, warning parents. You could be buying death with your money and giving it to your child online. So that phone that your father bought you, that smartphone, it's a knife. Use it positively, it will help you. Use it negatively, it will cut you and cut others. We cannot stop the digital revolution. But for me, there's only one simple way of dealing with it. I don't want to be a fool and tell my children nitakununulia tu kamulika mwizi. I'll buy them a smartphone, no problem. But I'll tell them this is a knife. Ukitumia vibaya itakukata. Girls, even you boys, watch out how you deal with this. Now forget hiyo mambo ya kudanganywa online. Mtu anakwambia, unajua Halima, tangu juzi sijakula. Mrongo, angekuwa shakufa na kudanganya. Unajua silali, mrongo, analala. So please, take this from me. Use the digital world positively. It will help you. And I'm saying this, na usiseme nakuapisha. I'm not cursing you, but I'm saying this. If I die today, because we might never meet again, I am an old man, I will tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that on the 24th of November 2019, I met some Muslim youth at Nairobi University. Allahumma, I told them, Allahumma fashad. Next time you want to see something bad in that phone, just remember me and remember Allah. Itumie positively. Please. Na mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu wallahi nitasema nilikwambia, because I've told you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wow, it has been quite a panel discussion, but I know members of the audience will not be contented if I end this event without giving. I also have the chance to ask a couple of questions to these prominent speakers here. But before we do that, I know most of us know that Sheikh Rashad has come from a very long way to grace our event, and he is due to be back very soon. So for that, please let's allow him to kindly leave the event, that he can catch his flight back to Mombasa. So in case you want him to just wave goodbye to you, this is the chance as he takes his leave as we go in for the question and answer forum.
Shukran wa jazakumullah khair. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Karibuni Mombasa.
Inshallah.
Kwa samaki wa kupaka. County 001.
Mashallah. Now, we have two speakers, and I believe they suffice our questions. Just as we did before the lunch, we will quickly take questions and the female. I hope there is an official with a microphone going around. Okay, let's begin with the gents. Anyone? Masha. There was a brother there with a hound. We'll come. Don't worry. One at a time. Yes, brother. Please tell us your name, where you're coming from, and who you are posing your question to.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
First, I would like to express my gratitude towards everyone who has organized this event. It's a very good event. It took a lot of time. As for my question, I normally like events like this because it gives ideas. First, I haven't really introduced myself. Sorry for that. My name is Salim Pau. I'm a student here at University of Nairobi, engineering. So, I wanted to ask a question. I normally like events like this because it gives us ideas. So I wanted suggestions. How can you propose for us to a way through which we can translate what we learn to these events, from these events to action which we can do in the real world? We can really apply them, but in a systematic manner such that we will not rush in with so much zeal that will die away, and we'll implement it in our daily lives, in our small circles, and then finally we can translate it to the entire society. Thank you.
We'll take all the questions, then give one chance for the lecturers to answer them. A lady, please. A question from the lady's side. Yes, there's a sister there.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل
Please
عقدة
be
من
audible.
لساني
Use the
يفقهوا
microphone
قولي.
well.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, my name is Okash Bulge Oche. I'm a student in the University of Nairobi main campus. And from the questions that our Sheikh was just left was posing, that where have we gone wrong? I think I have an answer which I am putting it in a form of a statement which our scholars there can correct me if I'm wrong, that this is something that we are missing, that the Ummah before us have been using, and it has quite led to their success. It has been the reason for their success. And using this method or using this law or rule, we as Muslims have been ruling the world. And the dignity of one Muslim sister, for those who know the story of Mu'tasim Billah and a sister who was oppressed in Constantinople, an entire army of Muslims was sent to just rescue a dignity of one Muslim lady. And this is a rule by which, because we lived with it, and by it, the Muslims ruled Persia, Byzantine, and almost the entire world. And right now, our blood have become cheaper than the blood of a housefly. And the Muslims, you can witness that because the entire Middle East and the 60% of the wars that is going on is in the Muslim nations, Islamic countries. What have we lacked? What have we left out that our blood have become so cheap and our dignity have become so much lost? And I wanted to say that when we go back to this, of which I can be corrected, if we go back to this law, we are going to get back our lost honor, and we are going to get back our lost respect and dignity. And that is by one word, Al-Quran. Once we go back to Quran, not just reciting it because we just listen to it online every now and then and say, MashaAllah, what a good recitation. But are we applying it really to our lives? So if I'm wrong, kindly I can be corrected. Is it this that we lacked, the Quran, applying the Quran and the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that have made us lost our dignity? And once when we get back to it, we are going to get back our honor and respect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope that question is clear for the speakers. Quickly. The one spectacle in the beard. Thank you. Please be very fast in structuring your questions. We are short of time. We've not prayed Asr.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wallahi wa barakatuh. My name is Saleh Muhammad. I'm a fourth year medical student. I have two issues to talk about. The first one is a comment, and the second one is a question. I would have loved Dr. Rishad to even ask him this question. So the comment is, I wanted to say it before lunch because sahi watu wengine washaenda zao. Lakini it's an issue that has been overlooked, especially in the universities. There are brothers who, as soon as they leave their places, Mombasa, Western Kenya, they come to Nairobi, they come to universities, JKUAT, KU, Strathmore, USIU, whichever university they are in, they engage in smoking of weed, okay, wavuta bangi. And some of them, they engage in this when they're in third year, some of them engage in this when they're in fourth year, when they're going to finish, sometimes when they start. Why? Because of the kind of friends they engage with. So it's a challenge to the organizers and even the universities that want to organize such an event to also include this topic, because it's something that is increasing. I have friends actually who, some of them are in the same class as me, some of them are even in lower classes. Some we go to play football with them. tukishamaliza kucheza boli wana jamaa wanavuta bangi, and it's a very big predicament that these youth are engaging with. The question that I want to ask is, there's a challenge that some people, especially men from Mombasa, kuna aya katika Qur'an yasema waqarna fi buyutikunna wala tabarrujna tabarruj al-jahiliyyati al-ula, yani ikiwa wataka kuoa mke afaa baki nyumbani ama waweza mruhusu afanye kazi. That's a question to both the speakers.
Okay, one question from the ladies' side before we get the sheikhs to answer, and then we break in a question. Last question from the ladies' side.
So, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa
My
rahmatullahi wa
name is
barakatuh.
Sharifa, and my question goes to Sheikh Lidome. I have two questions, and one is, yesterday a sister was sharing with me, and she was listening to this lecture, and the Sheikh was talking about women who are educated. So the Sheikh was saying the more the educational level, like Daktari, the more arrogant she becomes. So what is making men get intimidated? What is it about the education of a woman that makes them intimidated? Are we less or are we more to them? So, and I just really want to understand, where is the statistics coming from? What gave the Sheikh the right to say that the more the woman is educated, the more arrogant she becomes? And the second thing is, I've been, life was not really easy when I was in uni, and there was one thing that constantly disturbed me. You will work with a sister and she will shake hands with a friend. For example, she bumps into a friend and she will shake hands with a man, and you don't shake hands. So it will end up to be a very weird situation, because you'll be asked, why are you not shaking hands? So in such a situation, because we've been talking about, Sheikh said, on the topic of ideal Muslim youth, how do we integrate our values so that we don't come into a point whereby we collide, in that, we are walking, you're shaking hands, and subhanAllah, these days, we hug each other. It's not even the Muslim and the Christian now. It's us Muslim sisters and Muslim brothers hugging each other, shaking each other's hands. So how do we integrate that? How do we integrate our values so that such problems don't occur and another person is not called, you're an ustada, you're this and this. So, Jazakumullah khairan.
I would like to ask if they got the questions right. Okay, so in a quick jiffy, please, let's try to answer them as we see fit.
Let's be the last questions. Great questions, but coming towards the end of the day, we are going to very quickly attempt to. But the more I'll leave it to Daktari. She will respond to that. I was even whispering to her, Daktari, are you arrogant? She will answer that. Now, issue of our values, shaking hands. Somebody might brand you arrogant just because, and they see other Muslims doing them. And this is where now we challenge as Muslims. You see, through our actions, people interpret Islam or understand Islam from the way we present it. If one person is going, it's just like in the month of Ramadan. Let's say some people are fasting, others are not fasting. You create confusion. Because even a non-Muslim will say, why are you fasting? So and so is with me, is not fasting. Mambo ya ulevi. If let's say some of us here go to the bars there and they drink and they are Muslims, then tomorrow you meet the same friends who are with your colleague, a Muslim, usema mimi sinywi, atakwambia, but so and so is a Muslim and also drinks. The same thing now with the dress code. If let's say some of you are in spaghetti and micro miniskirts and others are in hijab, you are creating a confusion. Can we agree that we be guided by Islam. If you are guided by Islam, there will be uniformity. Certain things are very clear. Let's come to the issue of shaking hands, which of course, sometimes you can excuse a person who is not a Muslim because they do not know our values. I will not be surprised if a non-Muslim walks here and extends his hand to Madam. But between me and her, if it happens, what message am I sending out there? One of my daughters just completed at USIU. Sometimes I go there. And what shocks me is hiyo mambo ya kuhagiana na kupekiana hapa hivi. You know, even the guy is not interested. This Muslim girl, paka ni mfupi, anajaribu kupanda juu hivi amfikie huku jamaa. I feel like slapping. What are you trying to show? Is this our values? You're creating a wrong impression. So simply, can we be guided by the teachings of Islam? Tusiwe sababu ya Uislamu kutukanwa. Kuna jamaa mmoja alisilimu. Baada ya kusilimu alitoka anataka kuonyesha Sheikh kuwa ashasilimu. Ambe Sheikh, I am a Muslim now. And to prove that I'm a Muslim, I've started smoking. I've even started chewing mirror. Kuna kitu kimoja tu kimebaki. I'm waiting for Taarab cassettes from Mombasa. Nikamilishe. Alipata hiyo impression wapi? From Muslims. So sometimes we create the wrong impression. Can we be guided by our values? And I like the advice of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam to Mu'adh. If you don't get out of this place with anything else, just get out with this hadith. Ya Mu'adh, ittaqillaha haythu kunt. Fear Allah wherever you are. For me, that is enough. Just fear Allah wherever you are. Don't be the reason for Islam and your fellow Muslims being ridiculed and even being seen as arrogant. I'll leave the other one of arrogance to yes. Our sister. I like your passion. At one time I thought you were going to break down because of the feeling you have that the ummah is suffering. We have the Quran. Nothing has changed. The Sahabas had the Quran. We have the Quran. They had the Sunnah. We have the Sunnah. And for us, it's even easier. You are working with all the books in your phone. Amasivyo. Zote ziko Quran iko anytime. A small flash disk, you have a whole library. So we have everything. The difference, my daughter, is this. They were practical. We are not practical. We need to practice. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was praised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he said, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. The character. Aisha radiallahu anha was asked about the character of the Prophet. She said, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. Meaning what? He implemented Quran. In all that he did, he was guided by that. Then, 23 years, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us this religion. Then he summarizes his mission in a very small hadith. Take this hadith also. Innama bu'ithtu li'utammima makarim al-akhlaq. Character. So, reading Quran, if it is not translated into our character, zero. If your salah, unakwenda unaswali, kisha the next thing uko kwenye casino kule. The Quran tells us, inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. It's supposed to keep you away. You're fasting and then you're doing wrong things. The ayah that talks about Psalm tells us, la'allakum tattaqun. Where is the taqwa? So my sister, we have the Quran. We have the Sunnah. What we are lacking is implementation. About the blood of Muslims becoming cheap. It's just because we have gone away, we have kept away from the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Quran. Listen to this hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Unsuru akhaka zaliman aw madluman." Rescue your brother, whether he is the oppressor or the oppressed. The Sahabas were surprised. How do I rescue my brother when he is the oppressor? By stopping him from oppressing. The oppressed, we have to stand. Al-ukhuwa al-islamiyya. The Prophet ﷺ said, we are supposed to be like one body. If one part of the body is paining, you cannot ignore. hiki kidole kinaniuma, lakini shauri yake mimi nalala, kidole shauri yako. It cannot happen like that. So we have not implemented Islam properly. That is the problem. So Qur'ani ipo, ni implementation ndio ipo. Munkar, angalia kama sasa in the streets here unakuta msichana na mvulana wanabusiana, wanafanya hivi. That is munkar, but we take it as normal. Yet tunaambiwa na Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam, man ra'a minkum munkaran falyughayyirhu biyadihi, faman lam yastati fabilisanihi, faman lam yastati fabiqalbihi, wa dhalika adhafu al-iman. When we don't stop munkar, na tafadhali kutusimamisha munkar sio uenda wazimu, tumia akili yako. Please, tumia akili yako. If you can't change using your hands, do it. If not, by word of mouth. But when you keep quiet and even celebrate munkar, ina maana wewe hata kumcha Mwenyezi Mungu haumwogopi na haujui kuwa una jukumu la amru bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. Salim, how do you translate whatever you learn here into practice? Of course, kama umeambiwa mambo ya kutumia simu vizuri, ogopa Mwenyezi Mungu. For me, the beginning point is the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all what you do. And remember, our whole life is ibadah. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So whatever you do, as you're studying, it is ibadah. Unakwenda kula, it's ibadah. As you're walking in the streets, as long as whatever you are doing it for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then that is ibadah. We're very lucky as Muslims. For other people, other communities, ibadah means certain rituals on a specific day in a specific place. Mimi na wewe tunaambiwa even what we are doing now is ibadah. As long as we are doing what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taking food to your wife at home is ibadah. Even having a sexual relationship with your wife or husband, it is ibadah, as long as you are doing it in the right place. So for me, take what you have learned and put it into your life. Practice it yourself. Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Allah will not bring change by just you wishing. Mwenyezi Mungu, najua nilikuwa siswali na tumeambiwa tuswali. Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie ni swali. But you are sleeping at 1 o'clock. Salatul Fajr ni 5. Ama you are saa 9 ndio unatoka huko party. Unakuja kulala saa 9. Mwenyezi Mungu nijalie ni swali Salatul Fajr. Wewe huna nia ya kuswali Salatul Fajr. You should have planned for it. So you must make efforts. Mwenyezi Mungu utusaidia, lakini we have to make human efforts. So whatever you have learned here today, start practicing it immediately and Allah will give you tawfiq. I think I've answered all the questions. I want to leave the rest to the doctor here who is not arrogant.
Thank you, Dr. I think I will also maybe just add on it. For the gentleman who asked about how can he translate whatever he has learned, I think I agree with Dr. here, that you pick and the sessions or the learnings that have happened and first customize it to yourself. I think there is some improvement that you can do from whatever has been shared here today personally first. Secondly, then try to see how do I make the other person make it reach the other person. Maybe form small groups and try to think through, reflect on what today's learning and try to see where can we make impact. Starting from your own, maybe others who are not present or even those who are present, so that you can sit and reflect back and see from whatever has been shared today, is there a way that we can form something out of it that can also be reaching out to others through these networks. Then there is an issue of this other young girl who was emotional about that we are Muslims, we have the Quran, but things are not working out for us, and especially the Muslim world that is experiencing a lot of battles. I think, again, I agree with Dr. It's not the lack of knowledge. The Quran is there, the practice is missing, and part of what is happening in our Muslim continent is also influence from external forces. Don't forget, it is not that we have no knowledge. It is not that we want to fight, but it's like we are programmed and we are influenced and we are made to fight. So we need to live in reality and try to understand, do we need to be forced by external persons to influence our actions? Until we reach a point and come to the sense that is this acceptable in Islam? Is this the fighting within ourselves as Muslims necessary? And how that is perceived by our own self, we will still continue to be manipulated. And I think this is a fact that people are trying to avoid from talking. So we need to think, who are aiding the wars between Muslim continents, and let's think about how do we change the perception of our own selves towards each other so that then we can make significant change in terms of not killing each other over petty influences that are externally motivated by others. Then the issue of drug, I think I agree, there are a lot of drug abuse in universities, and all these sessions, I think we need to incorporate a talk on drug abuse. I feel like we are losing out a lot of useful youth on drugs, and this subject must be integrated in all our teachings, whether it is in mosque, whether it is where, so that at least by talking to our youths, then we can maybe save 1 out of the 10. So let's make it our effort that during our dawah times, during the prayer times, there is at least some reminder in terms of how do we then distance ourselves from the happenings, and look at the peers or the groups that you surround yourself with and try to ask yourself, what are you here to do? Do not lose focus, because in these kind of institutions, you'll find a lot of diverse teams. People from humble background, people from extreme backgrounds, who do not have anything to lose by even messing themselves around. So where do you belong? Try to ask yourself, how did you walk into this university the first day, and how do you want to live? Because it is the day that you have come here, if you remember, the same way you will leave this institution. And therefore, you must stay focused on what brought you here, and try these other issues that is going to distract you. And I think this is self-awareness. Try to understand where you have come from. Try to understand what business you are coming to do here, and focus. I'm sure there are distractions, but try to pray over it and stay on course. Then the issue of same, that Mombasa guys, I don't know why they like their women to be in the house. That they don't need to work. I don't know. I don't want to overemphasize that, but I believe in the current world, you cannot choose to keep your wife in the house. Because by going out, we have not lost our faith. We have not lost our direction. We are still contributing to the society. And so by keeping your wives in the house, unfortunately, you're not making any justice for me. So it's how you choose. If you're able to supply for them everything, fine, but that does not mean that they should be blocked from acquisition of knowledge. They can be maybe competent or educated at PhD level, and then you decide between yourself and the spouse, do you really need to work if I can sustain the family? Then with that agreement, she can be keeping the house, but not actually, I think that is a discrimination. If it is not intentionally done or agreed upon, then it becomes to discrimination, which is not fair for me. That is my personal opinion. Yeah, and then there is the issue of a lady who is educated is arrogant. That one, I don't agree. Fine, if education, I think, I don't know how to gauge education, but at least to the level I have reached, because I'm still very young in the other line of education, which I'm still pursuing, but where I've reached, I have not found any arrogance in myself. And the fact why men perceive women who are educated as arrogant is their awareness of self, is their firmness in making their decisions. Because I'm not getting it easy even in those boardrooms right now. I sit in a boardroom where all the top level managers are male, I am the only woman. And I don't feel insecure because it is what I bring on the table that matters. But as she's put it directly, it's like sometimes you are perceived, you are too tough. And that threatens somebody because you take your seat, you stand your ground, and you don't allow yourself to be manipulated. And I think men fear that. And the moment that we don't grow beyond that fear, then we will still be left behind. And very few, unfortunately, of our Muslim women are bold enough to take their spaces. Even if they are doctors, sometimes we shy off from speaking out. I think we shouldn't stop to get education or subjecting our girls to get higher education for the purpose of fear, from the fear that they are going to be arrogant. It is the personality in you. You don't need to be neglecting maybe your responsibility as a husband, as a mother, as a wife, yeah? I have that part of my life that I live comfortably and I don't find it difficult to comply. So provided you balance, and actually it is the opposite, if I will be asked, that even those women who are more learned are more humble, not arrogant. So that is, I think, a very bad perception if it had to come from a high level of somebody who is supposed to guide people. Then there is the issue of handshake between genders, which is not acceptable in Islam. But let's not also understand that we come from different backgrounds. Some people are brought up in a Muslim that is not, a Muslim community, family that is not practicing. They may not be aware that they are Muslims. So let us take it as an obligation upon ourselves that during our dawah, we also try to share this beneficial knowledge, that let the person also be oriented that there is these values of Muslim that we need to uphold. I remember when we were in high school, we had groups, Muslim groups, where we could share ideas, where we could change ideas, exchange ideas, and people were transformed. Even those who are not good at maybe not shaking hand, slowly had to stop whatever they are doing through sharing of knowledge. So share knowledge. Don't just assume everybody Muslim knows, has all the values in themselves. They may not have it. But let us also avoid those dramatic things, because you don't need to hug somebody for you to be seen that you are, I don't know what people want to portray. So that some extremes that we take through should not apply, because it is very disgracing when one lady is too holy here, she cannot say hi, and you are jumping over to go and hug somebody. So I think this again is personalities that are different. Let's just try to guide each other, and let's uphold the Islamic values at all times. I think I have. Thank you.
This one, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ, Sheikh, Mombasa. Wacha ni haraka tu. Aya sio Mombasa hiyo, aya ni watu wote. It's not only Mombasa, ni kote. Aya hii is not applicable there. But we need to understand the true meaning of this, and look at the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba. Let's face it, this woman who stood up when Umar ibn al-Khattab wanted to put a ceiling to Mahar, was she in the house or outside the house? This woman who told Umar, who are you? Because Umar ibn al-Khattab felt that the Mahar now was dowry was so high, he wanted to put a ceiling. A woman stood up and said, who are you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not put a ceiling. Umar akasema asabat al-mar'a wa akhta Umar. It was outside, it's in a public place. The women who took part in the jihad with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were out. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was observing itikaf in the mosque, and one of the wives, I think Sophia, came to see him, and as he was escorting her to go back home, some Sahabas saw him. It was dusk. Akaogopa watakuwa na shaka ni nani huyu. Akawaita, ana Muhammad wa hadhihi zawjati. Ile mambo ya shubha. Ama sivyo? Kumbuka, they were out. We need to understand the true meaning of the ayah. It's going out without a reason, a proper reason. It doesn't mean waqarna fi buyutikunna, like some people anasema mwanamke kutoka ni mara tatu in this world. Number 1, kutoka kwenye mtumbo la mama yake kuja ulimwenguni. Kutoka number 2, kutoka kwa mama yake anaingia kwa mumewe. Kutoka number 3, nyumbani kaburini. Strictly cast in stone. Is that Islam? No. It means she should not go out without a good reason. And if she's going out to work, like, no, madam is out here for a reason. You are out here for a reason. How would you have gotten this education? Ukae kwenu nyumbani, utaipata hapa. But again here, even as you go out, are you observing the values of Islam? The answer is, if you are observing the teachings of Islam, get out and do what it is that has taken you out there. But if there is no reason for you to be out there, the best place for you is at home. That is the answer. Sasa kuna wanaume wengine alisomea Saudia, anataka kuja let me tell you, you cannot apply what happens in Saudi wholesale. You cannot apply what happens I studied in Pakistan myself. What happens there, you want to bring it here wholesale. Like in Afghanistan, what happens there, you want to bring it here wholesale. look at the circumstances we are in and observe the religion even as you go out there, but for a reason. Now you can imagine if the husband to Madam here says, وَقَرْنَا فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ, from today henceforth your PhD yako, jikoni huko. Use it for cooking food with us. Tumia your PhD kutupikia chakula hapa. What a waste. She's out here benefiting you. But if I would find her just roaming aimlessly for no purpose, that is what Islam is addressing. If I would find her dressed so badly, I cannot tell whether she's a Muslim or not, that is what Islam is against. About drugs, if you ask me, it's like Muslims have been targeted deliberately. Alafu sijui kwa nini umechukua tu bangi. Merungi sio drug, mera. Mugoka sio drug. Kuna wengine usema hii ndio ulevi yetu, tumezuia ulevi ingine, hii ndio ulevi yetu. Ittaqillah. Na wengine wanasema nini? Hii si ulevi, inapandisha tu mtu. Msomali anasema markan. Markan ni kitu gani? Markan is madness. A person with markan actually is not normal. There is a guy, I won't mention his name because he's a professor, one of the big universities in the country. When this guy chews that thing, ikishajaa hapa takzin, inaitwa takzin, and they got it from the Arabic word takhzin, yani storing. The chick becomes a store. Anasema unajua, hii inzi inacheka na mimi, orea, hii inzi inacheka na mimi. Now, a person who is smiling with a fly, surely, is that a normal person? Alafu wengine wanasema nini? Sheikh, onyesha mahali imeharamishwa kwenye Qur'ani. Ittaqillah, ilahi kahafsu. Ulikuwa unaongoja aya iseme innama mugoka rijisun min amali shaitan. Innama veve rijisun min amali shaitan. Kullu muslimin haram. Anything that is an intoxicant ni haramu. Shisha, bangi, hata sigara na nini. All those things are haram. So drugs. Na ukiangalia, wallahi ni kama miji ya Waislamu imetegewa haya mambo. You go to Northeastern province, gari za kwanza utaona asubuhi zikiingia Wajia ni gari za miraa. I was in Hargeisa doing a training. Kufika sana, everybody ran out of the workshop. Nini? Gari ya miraa imefika kutoka Ethiopia. Ndio everybody is running away. Ikifika saa 8 kila mtu yuko kwenye veve. A research was done several years back, Mombasa hiyo island. Per day, the amount of money that is used, I know the mayor will not like to listen to this, but I'm talking to fellow Muslims here. 7 million Kenya shillings, island peke yake, veve, mera. And then, in a day, 7 million in a day. Maskini wangapi wangefaidika na hiyo? Drugs, nenda old town Kibokoni saizi, Bagani. Look at the number of cabbages. Vijana wa Kiislamu wamekuwa makabbage, zombi. Ama sivyo? How many of us are talking about it? Kimya, tumenyamaza. These are the things we need to talk about drugs. Sasa hizi gari zikitoka Meru, destination ni wapi? Hapa Nairobi, destination ni wapi? Isli, ama sivyo? Yeah, Isli, majority ni kina nani? Waislamu. Then the worst part, it has been digitalized. I once went to Pangani. Pangani kuna a place pale katikati. I know you know it. Pale katikati hivi. I'd gone to see somebody. Niko ndani ya gari. A Muslim lady in hijab came to me. Mzee, unataka analog ama digital? What do you mean? Oh, then she realized wrong number. Kwa sababu anajua the majority of the customers ni nani? Ni Waislamu. So, hebu tuanzeni na sisi. Let me ask you. Una pesa hapa mfukoni. Nani anakuja kuzivuta nenda kanunue drugs ama nenda kanunue miraa? Si ni wewe mwenyewe unatoa? Na Mwenyezi Mungu ametuambia wala tulku bi aidikum ila tahluka. So we need to begin with ourselves. Halafu, why do you want to look like the others? Why do you want to behave like the others? Ati unaona, this is the fashion, lazima watu wawashe. Kama recently, one of my relatives in Mombasa, tumempeleka rehabilitation Likoni saizi. This is a guy, amemaliza skuli, ameitwa mahali kufanya engineering. He's a cabbage kwa sababu ya drugs. We had to take him there. Then, somebody who is a grown up, nikamwambia we are planning to do this. Unajua ninambia sisi, anambia nini? Hata sisi tulipitia hiyo, hapa tulikuwa tukichoma tu. No. Again, the role models. Pick your role models. Choose your role models. But this is a subject that we need to hammer on, talk about it, because it's killing our ummah. Umma unamalizika na mambo ya drugs. Na isiwe ni bangi peke yake ama cocaine ama brown sugar. Tuanzie na hii ya hapa. Hii ya hapa hii. Hiyo mambo ya kusaga hiyo. Tuanzie hapo. Shukran.
Afwan, shukran wa jazakumullah khair. Now, before I invite the chairman to give a vote of thanks, this is a calling to all students, all university students. You can see that this particular event has been broadcasted by Horizontv, and similarly, they usually have programs running throughout the week. Uchambuzi wa magazeti. I'm sure if you follow their page, Horizontv in YouTube, they also have Twitter and Facebook and the rest. They have given us an opportunity of a lifetime as students. They are willing to leave a list from us, the student leadership, to give opportunities to the students in case they'd like to come on air and discuss matters, trending contemporary matters that affect the society and the Muslim youth. This is a chance for you. This is a platform. Any topic, it's medical, be it a social topic, a political topic, all have these different topics discussed at different days. So please, if there's anyone who feels that they have the tenacity to stand before a camera in a studio setting to discuss such matters, please, there is an open invitation to both male and females. Please, nearest official that you can find and forward your name in case you're interested and the topic that you're interested to speak in, or rather kuichangia. Please, as we go home, this is food for, it's an open invitation. We can even find a way and link with our brothers from other universities in JQAT, Kenyatta universities and the rest. But as of now, please, let's go home thinking of that. And to finish it up, I would like to invite our chairman, Brother Zakaria, to quickly give us a vote of thanks as we close this session for today, inshallah. Brother Zakaria.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has attended this event, starting with our beloved sheikhs from Sheikh Muhammad Sheikh, Sheikh Abdul Ghani Bashir, Sheikh Rishad Rajab, Sheikh Brother Lidome, Sister Dr. Dr. Atkia, Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah, who was here, who was supposed to be in the panel, but due to commitment, he has excused himself. I was receiving texts, people telling me you haven't taken the Sheikh to the panel, as if I've forgotten, but the Sheikh has excused himself. So thank Sheikh and Dr. Atkia, and also we send our thanks to the Sheikhs who have departed. Number two, I have some few issues to point to. Number one, is this a concern from many stakeholders among the Muslim community leadership, that there is need for students to be active in the society. There is need for Muslim students to be involved in the society. And there is this tendency among students that so long as my student portal is working, my ID hasn't expired, my lectures are going on, my fees has been paid, I have a house to live in, then I don't have to bother myself with things Islamic. That happens. But brothers, to be sincere to you, there is need for us to be active in the society, not just think about themselves. So long as me and my family are okay, then everything is okay. That's not the way a leader should think. We know that cliche that says the leaders of today are the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. So you can't be selfish and expect to be a leader. You have to lead yourself. So I think that's one thing that we should think about. For those people who don't come to these events, who have come today, just know that there is need for you to be active in the society. That's one. Number two, Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah in the raised a point where he said that students are having a very tough time organizing events like this one due to financial. Gone are the days when sponsors were running to students asking for proposals to sponsor events. Nowadays, the sponsors are overstretched, and the students are organizing countless events. So there is this scenario where a precious balance has to be stricken between how much a student should contribute and how much a sponsor should chip in. And that is a challenge to the students, that we are no longer going to be writing proposals entirely to sponsors and leaving you out. So I've been in organizing this event at Sheikh Lidome, going to different sponsors. We are being told, what have you contributed? What are the students living? We are saying you are the leaders of tomorrow. Are we nurturing leaders who are just receivers and not givers? It's high time we nurture leaders who are givers and not just receivers. That's the way to be a leader. That's about the finances. So next semester, and this is to all the chairmen and the campuses, when the officials come and collecting some finances to sponsor like amazing events like this one, don't say, we nyinyi mnataka kukula pesa bana. I mean, there is that tendency. Pesa mnafanyia wapi? Mnapatiwa na umma, mnapatiwa na Saudi. There is that tendency, by the way, that Muslims, when you form an Islamic organization, that you should entirely be dependent on Islamic relief organizations. We need to stop that mentality. Things are not going that way anymore. So next year, inshallah ta'ala, I'm sure another person will be in the leadership here. Whosoever is going to organize an event, he will go back to the students to collect, to dig into their pockets and sponsor these events. So I think that should happen in all universities, all campuses. Be aware. Number 3, a brother by the name Salim Pao, seated here from third year, I think, engineering, has written a proposal from his research. That is a very crucial issue that it will be very unfair for me, whether we are out of time or not, to leave this gathering without mentioning. It will be unfair to him. Is the issue of integration of revertees. There is an alarming rate where new revertees are leaving the religion. Why? Because they don't feel welcome. They don't fit in, basically. They are disconnected from the other Muslim community. There is nobody to, extend a hand to them and integrate them into the society. Everybody you ask him, anaambia, hey, kuna huyu jamaa amesilimu, si udili naye bana, umfunze kitu. Atakwambia mpeleke msikitini bana. There is that issue. So hiyo tabia tuache, please. People, we are lucky in Nairobi that we have a JTI, Jamia Training Institute, where revertees are being trained. But everybody is not Nairobi. There are people who are here from all the way from Meru in Chuka University. In Chuka University, I'm sure they don't have Jamia Mosque there. So where are the revertees going to be taken and be trained? So be aware. Kila mtu asijifikiria unabeba bag unakimbia lectures. There is a Muslim revertee somewhere who's, and by the way, the decision to be a Muslim is a very tough decision. It's a decision that somebody has left all his family members, people who are paying his fees, the emotional roller coaster involved, and somebody makes that decision, which even I'm sure some of you can't make such a critical decision in their life, and that person, he comes on the other way and he expects that he will be welcomed and he will be given a hand, and this person sees the opposite side. Everybody is running nafsi by self. Kila mtu anafukuza pesa. So I think we should stop that. Officials and chairmen take charge in their campuses and integrate these people into society. Number 4 is the issue of mosque. We have a problem. Ryan said we are the premier university without a mosque. We are praying in the gardens when it's raining. We have a shower. So on this issue, we as the leaders are trying our best. Brother Asim and me and others are trying our best, trying to involve the administration, trying to involve the political leaders, trying to involve the spiritual leaders. But the unity of the students is key here. Brother Isa was one telling me that if all of you guys, every salah, you will pray in Jama'ah at the Great Court. Every day, 400 of you at the Great Court praying Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, for those who are here. Will the administration not feel uncomfortable and give you a place to build a mosque? Well, it will do that way, because it will be embarrassing, the administration, that all these people are praying in the open and they don't have a mosque. But what happens? There is no unity. So unity is key. And this is not just about the mosque. Anything that is to be achieved in this world, the unity of the people involved is key. So you guys, we expect that we will be following up this issue. This semester we focused on this event. Next semester we'll be focused on mosque. So when we come to you and say that we should be praying together at the Great Court, useme, Sheikh, hapo ni kuwazi bana, watu watatuona. Don't do that. And then the last thing, all chairmen from all the campuses and universities, these are books written. The title of the book is The Role of University Students in the Reconstruction of Societies, an Islamic Perspective, that is written by Professor Hamza Mustafa Njozi. I mean, this guy is head of literature at University of Morogoro, Tanzania. I don't know Tanzania kama kuna literature, but anyway, so chairman, collect these books from me after this. And finally, there is a group known as Kuema, Kenya Western Muslim Students. Their chairman is around. He's saying once you are through with the event, you can meet him, you have a program with him. Finally, to close, I want to thank everybody who has come all the way from Chuka. I mean, kuna mvua ni baraka Mwenyezi Mungu. Some people are, in the severe drought in some areas. We should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So thank you guys all who have come from KU, JKUAT, Apakabete, Loakabete, Kenya Science, Chiromo, Parklands, whatever. Thank you all, and we hope the next year, inshallah ta'ala, will be with us. And we also thank the Sheikh. So everybody who has made this event successful, from Horizontv, from the students, from the administration, everybody. Thank you. Shukran. Jazakumullah.
Are you finding difficulty to find us on Azam decoders? Rescan your Azam decoders and find us on channel 008. Horizontv, the beacon for the nation.
Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We love a prophet. We love a prophet.
And then I forgot all the volunteers remain behind, please. All the volunteers. Come away, volunteers. There is a lot to be done here. Please. Come back.
Abu Najma with kids. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are now at the Arena 1.